Live from Algona High School, it's North Central Conference basketball action as the Bulldogs look for their fifth win in the past 6 games, taking on a Webster City Lynx team that comes in at 3-11 off a loss against Clear Lake on Tuesday night. Good evening, everyone. Tyler Lance with you here tonight. I'll be joined by Greg Stewart in the booth this evening as the 9-5 Bulldogs take on the 3-11 Webster City Lynx here in Algona, Iowa. Bulldogs coming off a 34-28 win over Hampton-Dumont Cal on Tuesday night, but they'll look to turn up the offense in tonight's game after a slow offensive performance, but a good defensive performance in that Tuesday night matchup. We'll talk with both coaches ahead of tonight's game, as we'll start off with Webster City head coach Mark Fisher, and then we'll check in with Algona head coach Norma McLaughlin as part of the pregame show with your tip-off coming up at 6:15 right here on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
At Security State Bank, we realize each customer has a unique set of needs and goals. That's why we place a greater value on providing outstanding customer service. All products and services are designed for customers within our local community. We value each customer that walks through our door and wants to give them the personalized attention they deserve. Find out why Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne is your partner in community banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
Getting set for North Central Conference basketball action tonight here on Hometown Radio KLGA with Algona and Webster City matching up. Right now we're talking with Webster City head coach Mark Fisher. Coach, first of all, thank you very much for joining today. Could you start us off with just a brief recap of your team's season up to this point?
Well, it's been a little bit of a struggle record-wise for us this year, but we've just got kind of a young group. We had a coaching changeover kind of late in the fall there. It's a new system we're kind of going through. We're really trying to develop up a lot of skills, a lot of instincts, things like that. But the girls have been working absolutely super hard. I've seen a ton of improvement from them this year. I know they've seen that too. They've really been buying into what we've been trying to do, getting better every single day, getting better with what we're trying to do every single day. And we're really starting to see that more and more. Maybe not always in the win column right away, but we're starting to see really that improvement and some more success on the court and just in the ways we're playing and the style we're playing and some of that things.
Absolutely. And Coach, you have those 4 seniors on your team who have started quite a few games this year. Do you feel those seniors have helped bring along the younger players in your group at all in any ways?
Yeah, I mean, they really have. Getting them to buy in obviously was one of the more important things. And it's always toughest for seniors when you have a coaching change like that because, you're used to the way things were for about 3 years there. And so it always kind of hits them hardest with some of the changes that go on, but they've done a good job of keeping good attitudes and buying in, and we've even seen that more and more as of late. Which, again, like I said, is tough because, in a way, they're kind of in the same position as some of those younger players in terms of figuring things out and whatnot. But they've really been fantastic from the standpoint of the way they've really dove in and tried to help and just made it as smooth a transition as possible.
And, Coach, you're going for that North Central Conference schedule the second time around as you match up with the Algona Bulldogs tonight. First matchup was an Algona 61-39 victory. What were a couple of your takeaways from the first time you saw Algona this season?
Well, I said, I know they're a young team, but they're a very talented team, too. I mean, they can shoot the ball extremely well. They're very well coached. You can tell they've done a good job with them, on the defensive end, on the offensive end. They'll mix defenses up on you. I know from even watching them a little bit more, just kind of getting ready for them again, and that's something that you can tell they've improved quite a bit. Their guard play especially, not just their shooting, but all of the other aspects and stuff. So they're a very well-coached team, and a team I think that's going to continue to get better, not just this year, but into next year too.
And, Coach, first time around against Algona, you guys were able to shoot the 3-ball pretty well during that game, so how do you replicate a good 3-point shooting night in tonight's ball game?
Some of that's just what we've been working on all year. Shooting is one of those things that's hard. It's probably one of the hardest things to develop over the course of a season. But our girls have really been working hard at that. But a lot of that comes down to shot selection, too. As long as we do a good job of running what we need to in terms of our offense, keeping the ball moving, all those kind of things, and getting good shots and making sure that we're smart with our shot selection, I think we have a chance to shoot really well. I know we've shot much better as of late, and a lot of that, part of that's, obviously the work they've been putting into practice and stuff, but part of that, too, is just their ability to be a little smarter with the ball, a little smarter with our ball movement, and making sure we're getting good shot selection.
Talking right now with Webster City head coach Mark Fisher. And, Coach, you mentioned a few of the strengths that the Bulldogs have coming into tonight's game. One of the other ones is that they do have quite a few players, some good height, who can really get after those rebounds. So how do you approach a tall team like the Bulldogs in that way?
Well, yeah, that's always an issue, too, and I know we've talked about that a little bit, too. Some of that is just, on the defensive end, what you do in terms of where you force the drive, where you force the ball, where your help comes from, how good of a job you're doing guarding the ball and stuff, because some of those things are when you get into those rotations, that's where you run into some issues sometimes with the rebound. But also just emphasizing, the fundamentals, making sure we're boxing out, making sure we're being aggressive after the ball, making sure we're identifying and boxing out the right girls and making sure we're keeping them off the glass. Just little detail things like that.
Coach, as we wrap up for today, what do you feel is the biggest key to a Webster City victory in tonight's game?
Oh, I think for us, it's just making sure we kind of play our way a little bit. One of the big things we're always looking to do is instill our style on the other team, our style of play. So if we come out, we play hard, we play defense like we want to, we get out run like we want to, and make sure we're taking good shots. That's going to give us a chance at the end.
All right, well, Coach, thank you very much for the time today, and best of luck in tonight's game.
All right, thank you very much for having me.
That is Webster City head coach Mark Fisher here on the pregame show. We'll take another timeout, but tip-off is coming up in a few minutes on Hometown Radio and the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
And we are getting set for North Central Conference basketball action tonight as Algona hosts Webster City. And right now we're talking with Bulldog head coach Norma McLaughlin. Coach, obviously we tried to do this yesterday, but Mother Nature had other ideas, but you get back to it tonight with a North Central Conference matchup against the Lynx. Now, you did play them once earlier this season, got a 61-39 win in that game. So what were a couple of your takeaways from the first time you saw Webster City this season?
Well, I think playing down there early in the season, we weren't real sure where we were at with things, but to score in the 60s for us that night, we were pretty comfortable and pretty happy with the result. And so it was a new coaching change down there in Webster City, so we weren't sure what kind of style they would play. We've seen that they play a lot of man-to-man now, and so just as the year has progressed, we know a lot more about them now. We know their players from carryover from last year, but now we know a little bit more about the program that he's running and just more about their team in general.
Like we mentioned a little bit before, the team was able to get a win on Tuesday. It was a little bit of a lower scoring game, 34-28. What are a couple keys to really increasing that offensive production for tonight's game?
Well, I think if you're around basketball enough, you'll find that some nights you just kind of struggle through wins, and some nights the ball doesn't fall into the basket as much as you want it to, and really that's what it boiled down to. The defensive side of the court, we're very happy with. We're going to continue that. We're going to continue to get stops and hang our hat on our defensive end. But the offensive end, we expect to take a big leap in the right direction again tonight.
You mentioned the defensive side of things, and obviously I think it shows a sign of a maturing team to a certain extent. They're not letting the offensive struggles the other night get in the way of their defense. Can you speak on that a little bit, just how on nights where the offense isn't going, that you can still really rely on the team and know what you're going to get on a nightly basis defensive-wise?
Absolutely. Defense is a controllable item. A lot of things in basketball you can't control, but your effort and just being in the right spot and being in the moment, you definitely can control those things. And effort on our end, we never question that out of our girls and out of our team. They get after it, and they come up and they come ready to play. The offensive end, nobody misses a shot on purpose, but sometimes you're just off, a little bit here, a little bit there, and you might not have rhythm. We turn the ball over 20 sometimes down at Hampton on Tuesday night, and that's not typical for what we do. And so as long as we recognize what we need to fix, take care of it, be strong with the ball, just focus in a little bit, that's the things that we pulled out of that game. But the defensive effort that's how we play.
Zooming back into tonight's game, what do you feel are a couple of the biggest factors that'll lead to a Bulldog victory tonight?
I think one of the big things is just staying aggressive. Coming off of Tuesday's night where we didn't play particularly well on the offensive end, you can't change what you do on the offensive end. You can't let it, if you miss a shot, you can't let it decide if you're going to take that next open opportunity. We got to keep moving forward, and the shots eventually start to fall. But then creating tempo as well. We've mentioned that for a while now, is create our own tempo and move forward, be aggressive, and then play off of each other. And we've been seeing that. We want to continue to do that tonight.
Well, Coach, we're looking forward to tonight's game. Thank you very much for joining today, and best of luck in this one.
Thanks, Tyler.
That is Algona head coach Norma McLaughlin here on the pregame show. We'll take a timeout and get you closer to tip-off coming up on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these sports club members.
American Glass, for all your glass needs, think American.
Farm Bureau Financial Agents Dave Beisch, Jason Brace, Daniel Foth, and Michael Tull.
Chemco Tires, they're all you need to know about tires and service.
Weichert Realtors, the 515 Agency, a fresh approach to real estate.
Feed Mill Coffee Company, where community connects.
Iowa Lakes Community College, your community, your college.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, insuring our neighbors for over 80 years.
Walker Chiropractic and Wellness, caring for Algona, Sway City, and the surrounding areas with chiropractic, nutritional, and physical therapy services.
All proud sponsors of this broadcast.
With over a decade of experience, Jake Ingalls Electric is here to handle any electrical job you could possibly have. From anything agricultural related to complex commercial wiring to something simple like installing a new outlet in your home, Jake Ingalls Electric does it all. Have your wiring done right and call Jake at 515-320-4286. Jake Ingalls Electric, shockingly good service.
More sports club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Reeb's Wicked Good Bar and Grill. For wicked good food, drinks, and service, you gotta go to Reeb's.
CB Grain Solutions, satisfaction guaranteed.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
Dump it. They do the dirty work so you don't have to.
Albert Electric. Flip the switch to Albert Electric.
Grassmasters, growing satisfied customers.
Greg Penny and Company CPA, certified public accountants, where everyone counts.
Yemlin Builders and Apartments, quality apartments for rent, beauty and craftsmanship that will never go out of style.
Daylight Donuts, open early with delicious donuts and great coffee.
All sponsors of this broadcast.
For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
More sports club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Kasuth Regional Health Center. Make KRHC your home for healthcare.
North Iowa Appliance Center, Highway 18 East Algona, where they sell the best and service the rest.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country. Highway 18 West.
Algona Plumbing and Heating, where a good flush always beats a full house.
Runkey Brothers Full Service. Experience the Runkey Brothers difference for all of your auto service and repair needs.
Erpelding and Boyd CPAs. They're not just about taxes.
Erpelding Excavating Enterprise. Let them take care of your grading, excavating, and drainage needs.
Hy-Vee. Use the Fuel Saver card. Fill your cart, fuel your car.
AK's Chrome Kitchen. When you come in, your family.
All sports club members bringing you this broadcast.
I loved playing high school sports. I loved the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, all the pageantry, and I wanted to keep playing. But I graduated. No colleges called, and neither did the pros. So, to stay close to the game I loved, I decided to become a high school official. You know, a referee. When I played high school sports, I learned the importance of integrity, good sportsmanship, and respect for the rules. Now, as a high school official, I get to help model these same values to others. Maybe the colleges and the pros didn't call, but the kids in Iowa did. And now, I'm enjoying the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, and all the pageantry of high school sports all over again.
Interested in becoming a licensed high school official? Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn more and begin the application process.
At Security State Bank, we realize each customer has a unique set of needs and goals. That's why we place a greater value on providing outstanding customer service. All products and services are designed for customers within our local community. We value each customer that walks through our door and wants to give them the personalized attention they deserve. Find out why Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne is your partner in community banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
It's time to meet the starting lineup for the Algona Bulldogs.
Laura Solbach, senior, number 4.
Now Solbach in the lane, sidesteps everyone, flips it up to the left hand and puts it in the soft touch.
Casey Van Otterloo, sophomore, number 14.
Bouncing it into the lane to Perry. She comes out to Van Otterloo. Heat check 3. The heat is on. Casey Van Otterloo hits another 3-pointer.
Norma McLaughlin, sophomore, number 40.
Kicks it out McLaughlin. 3-point. Boom! She swishes it. Lauren McLaughlin, with 19 seconds left, gives Algona a 1-point lead.
Alayla Perry, senior, number 42.
Anderson looking. Warren's wide open. Shots blocked by Alayla Perry. She blocked the shot.
Lily Netherington, senior, number 22.
Now Efferton, 3-point try, and she cans it! Algona goes back up by 1, 41-40. Tip-off of your game is coming up next on Hometown and Home Country Radio. The Algona Bulldogs starting lineup under the direction of head coach Norma McLaughlin. Webster City under head coach Mark Fisher comes out with the senior Chloe Anderson, the junior Addison Bolu, senior Allie Odland, senior Olivia Kosh, and junior Ava Peterson. I'm Tyler Lance alongside Greg Stewart. Greg, what's the biggest thing you're looking for tonight?
Well, I think what Coach McLaughlin's talking about, just continued good effort. They struggled a little bit Tuesday night against Hampton, but sometimes, as he mentioned, you have off shooting nights. Be fun to see the Bulldogs get some of that shooting rhythm back here tonight in their home gym. But defense is what you can always count on. Look for good effort on defense.
It is pink out night here in Algona. A great Friday night crowd settling in as at midcourt Perry taps it and she wins the opening tip. Bulldogs head from right to left on the radio dial wearing the pink jerseys. Immediately open for a 3-pointer is Van Otterloo, and she swishes one right off the bat. 3-0 Bulldogs.
Yeah, tremendous start, and there's a turnover.
And a throwaway by Webster City. It trickles off the hands of Bolu and out of bounds. So
yeah. Perfect first 15 seconds.
Could not have scripted that a whole lot better if you were Algona up 3-0. Bulldogs with the pink uniforms, black lettering and numbering. Webster City in the road purples. They have the silver numerals and letters on the front and back. Far side of the court, Efferton now down into the post to Perry. Powers it over the top. She put it down, and she was fouled. Boy, now a great first 30 seconds, Greg, for the Bulldogs.
Well, the offense was struggling Tuesday night, but part of that was shooting just 4 out of 19, I believe, from three-point land. They hit the first one right out of the gate tonight, which you like to see that confidence. Now inside to Perry.
And Perry drains the foul shot. The Algona senior, averaging just under 10 points per game this season, has her first 3, and Algona grabs an early 6-0 lead. Now can Webster City handle the basketball against Algona? They have it near side of the court with Anderson. The senior bringing it to the center. She flips it around the perimeter. Far side of the court, Bolu. Now onto the wing it goes to Kosh. Threw it behind Anderson. It got tipped away, but she picked it up. Right now, 16 on the shot clock. Still plenty of time for Webster City. Looking for the baseline and getting pushed is Odland as the Bulldogs will pick up their first foul.
Yeah, good defensive effort here. That was what Coach McLaughlin was talking about. And seeing it with that press, not giving up when they had that dribble picked up by Webster City. Casey Van Otterloo really tagging her girl, get called for a little push.
Bulldogs number 2 in the North Central in defenses. There's a 3-ball coming and banking off. No good by Kosh. Tried to hit it off the glass and get it to drop through, but that'll be an early miss by Webster City. Van Otterloo, same spot, and same result as she drains another 3-pointer. 9-0 Bulldogs.
Well, Van Otterloo just a sophomore, but you really like to see that confidence.
She is lighting it up on 3-pointers as now she knocks the ball out of bounds defensively.
Again, if I remember the stats correctly, 2 out of 9 Casey Van Otterloo was Tuesday night. So you want good shooters to be ready to take that next shot. She's had her first 2.
It's an early 2 for 2. You have to have a short memory as a 3-point shooter. If the last one misses, you still have to be ready to fire up the next one, as it's a good start. And now Solbach jumps a pass. Here she comes to the court, gets it to McLaughlin on the right wing. Now back to Solbach. 6:31 on the clock, 9-0 Algona. McLaughlin tries a free from the same spot Van Otterloo did, but she left it a little short, and it's rebounded by Anderson, and it's taken away by Efferton. And now Anderson with a blocking foul. Boy, Efferton with the quick hands just sniped that ball away, and the Bulldogs force a turnover.
Yeah, here in the early minute of this ball game, minute and a half, 3 Webster City turnovers and pretty intense defensive pressure by Algona.
And a full timeout is called right now, as we'll take a timeout with 6:22 on the clock. A 9-0 lead by Algona on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
More sports club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Algona Livestock Sales. Sales every Monday.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce. 2 sauces for all seasons.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Holmes Animal Clinic. Animals large and small, they love them all.
Signworks for all your signage needs as well as printed shirts, caps, and jackets. Stop in or call 295-9544.
Style Salon, your salon in Algona. Create yourself.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance. Visit their studio or danceconnectionbymichelle.com.
TAFE Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong. Keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
All proud sponsors of this broadcast.
Algona with a 9-0 scoring run to start the ball game, and they have possession of the basketball with 6:22 on the clock. Lillian Etherington will inbound it. Etherington looking. They'll try to screen McLaughlin open. Nothing doing. They'll find Perry instead. Perry puts it off the window, and there's 2 more. 11-0 Bulldogs. Now they'll try to press, and Etherington picks the pocket of Odland. Up the court to Solbach. Solbach looking into the lane. Etherington cutting. Pass a little behind her. It's Piedelbat, and that'll be a jump ball forced by Webster City as Bolu got her hands in there.
Now the defensive effort continues for the Bulldogs. We only played 2 minutes, not quite 2 minutes, and there's 4 turnovers against the Lynx.
Webster City turning the ball over 21 times per game this season. That has been an issue for a young team under head coach Mark Fisher. Lynx 3-11. They are 1-7 in North Central Conference play. Right of the lane, it's Odland trying to fight it through contact, and she'll draw the foul and shoot 2 free throws. The senior Adley Odland, 5'6". She's averaging 6.5 points per game this season for the Lynx. Heading to the line for a couple as Perry picks up her first.
Odland at the line shooting 2.
Could see the senior in Odland that time taking it with a big girl guarding her, taking it hard to the basket and pushing that shot up, knowing she's probably going to collect the foul.
Missing the first foul shot off to the right. She's a 48% free throw shooter. Should try to settle for a split here as the second one is off the back of the cup, and McLaughlin able to box out Peterson for the rebound. 11-0 Algona. Here comes Solbach into the front court, wearing that protective mask over her face after the facial injury sustained on Saturday. Van Otterloo bouncing it left to Solbach. Left of the lane, spins towards the foul line, gets it outside to Etherington. To the left, Van Otterloo. She'll shoot it again. This one wedges off to the left. Offensive rebound, Etherington, and she gets bumped into for Webster City's 3rd foul.
Yeah, that was another thing I noticed, Tyler, looking at the stats for that last ball game Tuesday night. Etherington led the team in rebounding at Hampton, and I think included several offensive boards like she just collected there.
And their first foul shot rattles around and pops out of the drain. It was a surprise double-double for Etherington. When you think double-doubles, you'd probably say Alayla Perry would be the most likely candidate, but Etherington had her 10 points and 10 rebounds and a couple offensive boards, Greg, as you mentioned, so she was a huge part of that 34-28 win. And a rare over 2 at the line by Etherington, leaving the free throw short. She's shooting about 91% this year, but that'll go down after that trip to the line. As Webster City has the ball back, it rolls away from Anderson, and Etherington picks it up. Boy, Webster City struggling to get off shots. They have had the turnover bug early. Into McLaughlin in the post, outside Etherington. Top of the key three-pointer on the way, and it's a splash. 14-0 Algona. And now here comes that press again. Kosh has her pass knocked away, and it is out of bounds off the fingertips of Paige Schmidt, who just checked in for Algona. Kaylee Carroll also on the floor right now for the Bulldogs. Webster City will bring it into the front court with Odland, the senior, who's leading the team in rebounds, assists, and steals. Around the perimeter it goes. Right now it's Anderson catching, letting the three-pointer rip, but she missed it long. It's back-tapped, and it's out to McLaughlin. A couple early three-point misses for Webster City, who actually hit 7 three-pointers the first time these two teams matched up, as they were 7 of 22. Outside to Van Otterloo, dribbles towards her right and flips it over to McLaughlin. McLaughlin across the foul line, working into the lane. Back out to Van Otterloo. They'll cover her this time. She'll drive in, got by the defense, and she puts it up and in.
Nice attack that time by Van Otterloo. Good job.
8 early points by Casey Van Otterloo. A 16-0 Algona lead with 4:26 on the clock. Up the court, the Lynx have it with Julia Sturr. Sturr passing it up to the top of the key. It's off the fingertips of Kosh, but she chases it down and avoids the turnover. Bolu on the wing, guarded by Carroll, looking to drive towards the baseline, and Carroll will pick up the blocking foul with 4:12 on the clock.
Personal foul called on Kaylee.
That'll be foul number 3 against the Bulldogs. Both teams with 3 early in this game as Olivia Galentine checks in for Webster City. She'll replace Anderson. Galentine, the 5'8" sophomore, setting up. from the baseline. It'll be lobbed into the play by Odland, gets it up to Kosh, and she shuffled the shoes, and that's another Lynx turnover.
Yeah, it is. Turnover number 6 already on the Lynx.
Webster City's a team that's only scoring about 36.5 points per game, and boy, those turnovers just absolutely killer on offense for them.
Yeah, takes away a lot of opportunities for sure.
Efrington has it on the left wing. She drives, got by her defender, missed it off the window though, a little bit short. Webster City plays primarily a man-to-man defense as Bolu comes up the court, flips it around the wing. Now back to the near side to Bolu. Into the post, down low to Stir. Stir cut up by Carroll. Oh, and finds the cutting player, and missing at the rim is Odland. That was a great pass, but Odland could not finish, and now a foul on the rebound as Webster City picks that one up, guarding McLaughlin.
Now, the Lynx had a good open 3 look just a little bit ago, and that was the only other really good field goal look they've had right there, and just missed it up close.
So far, dominating defensive performance from Algona as Perry will check back into the game. Right now, you have Schmidt, Efrington, Solbach, Perry, and Carroll for Algona. A little bit of a longer lineup for the Bulldogs here as Efrington brings it across the timeline. Coming left to Carroll, down into the center of the lane to Perry. Good hands, though, as a knockaway by Stir for Webster City. Bulldog turnover, and now the Lynx come into the front court. Kosh on the right wing, lets the three-pointer rip, left it way short. It heads out of bounds, and it was last touched by Solbach as the Lynx will keep it. Webster City about a 21% three-point shooting team. They're 28.5% from the field, both 6 of 8 teams in the North Central. Driving into the lane, putting it up to the left, and putting it down is Galentine, and she draws the foul as Webster City's now on the board, 16-2.
Galentine, nice job of protecting that shot, using her left hand to go up.
Galentine will set up to try to finish the three-point play. And that one knuckles on the rim a couple times and drops off as Carroll grabs the rebound for Algona. Bulldogs up 16-2. Algona has won 4 of their last 5 games. They come in at 9-5. Perry slips behind the defense, and she lays it in for 2 more. Make it 18-2.
Perry's got pretty close to automatic if she's able to get the ball down low. Strong girl.
Her touch has really improved since early in her career. Her field goal percentage, about 54% now. And you look at her sophomore year, it was more around the 35 to 40% mark. So she has really improved her ability to finish. As Webster City probes the ball around the perimeter, Odland with it on the wing right now. Into the corner to the right of us to Kosh. Back around the perimeter it goes, far side of the court. Bounced into the lane and it's intercepted. Galentine could not find her mark. And here comes Schmidt up the court. Schmidt flips it onto the wing to Efrington. Head fakes, heads into the lane, and comes back outside to Carroll on the perimeter. To the left to Solbach, looks at the rim, drives inside, hits the spin move, passes to Perry at the foul line of 2:24 on the clock. Far corner to Efrington, now back down into the post to Perry. Perry puts it off the window, but she missed it long, and it's rebounded by Bolu.
Just a little bit wide that time, put up a little bit too strong.
Good possession, though, as far as ball movement for Algona. They kept things very active on that last possession, just did not finish it with the 2. Around the perimeter for the Lynx, Galentine goes into the corner as she finds Odland, spins away from Efrington, weaves across the foul line with 1:57 on the clock. Outside it goes for a three-point attempt, and that one is drained by Bolu. That'll make it 18-5. Bulldogs still holding the early lead. Right now, Layla Perry of 7 points. Casey Van Otterloo, 8 for Algona. The main part of the scoring as Schmidt left of the lane, dishes to Solbach in the corner, head fakes, crosses into the lane and comes back out top. Efrington spins towards her right, dishes to Solbach on the perimeter. She'll shoot the 3. She'll swish the 3.
And that was a nice assist there as well. On a spin move by Etherington.
This is shaping up to be a great three-point shooting night for Algona. Bulldogs were 8 of 18 on threes last time these two teams matched up as the pass into the lane is off the fingertips of Stir. She saves it. Around the perimeter, Kosh steps into the three-pointer, deadens it off the back of the rim and missed it as Perry grabs another board.
Bulldogs 4 out of 6 on long shots here so far tonight.
1 minute left in the first quarter, 21-5 Algona. Schmidt lost the dribble. Perry trying to save it. The ball rolls away, and it's picked up by Kosh. Flips it up ahead to Bolu. Bolu stepping out beyond the perimeter and waits for her teammates to catch up. Over to the right wing, three-point ball, Galentine, and it misses towards the near side as it's rebounded by Efrington. The Bulldogs senior sprints to the front court, lobs to Carroll. Carroll off the window, and Carroll scores it.
That's a nice transition bucket there. Recognizing what they had underneath the basket with Carroll.
23-5 Algona. They've come out big here in front of this packed Bulldog house. Student section getting into it in the background. Shot clock and game clock about even at the end of the first quarter. Bulldogs up 23-5. Ball's bobbled briefly by Galentine. Back around the perimeter, it goes to Odland. It rolls away from Odland, and she tracks it down. Now down to 12 seconds in the quarter. Her pass is picked. Schmidt intercepts it, and she runs the court. Left-handed layup, and she puts it in.
Terrific job by Schmidt of stepping back, playing the passing lane. It's another turnover.
And a double dribble by the Lynx. They were bringing it up the court uncontested, and Galentine got called for the double dribble with 1.5 seconds left, so Algona will have the chance to get the ball in and release a quick shot here at the end of the quarter.
Schmidt playing excellent defense there, though, staying back off the passing lane, but fully anticipating that's where the ball was going to come. Just stepped in and took it.
Najee Price into McLaughlin, faces the bucket, lets the three fly, but she missed it off the back of the cup at the end of the first quarter. But a great first quarter for the Algona Bulldogs. They roar out to a 25-5 lead over the Webster City Lynx right here on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these sports club members.
American Glass, for all your glass needs, think American.
Farm Bureau Financial Agents Dave Beisch, Jason Brace, Daniel Foth, and Michael Tull.
Chemco Tires, they're all you need to know about tires and service.
Wykert Realtors, the 515 Agency, a fresh approach to real estate.
Feed Mill Coffee Company, where community connects.
Iowa Lakes Community College, your community, your college.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, insuring our neighbors for over 80 years.
Walker Chiropractic and Wellness, caring for Algona, Sway City, and the surrounding areas with chiropractic, nutritional, and physical therapy services.
All proud sponsors of this broadcast.
Start of quarter number 2 as Algona leads Webster City 25-5. A great three-point shooting first quarter for the Bulldogs, Greg, and a lot to like defensively as well.
Well, it was excellent defensive effort. Got 9 turnovers out of the Lynx in that first quarter, but shooting 10 out of 15 the Bulldogs were there in that first quarter, including 4 out of 7 from outside the three-point line.
Algona playing very loose this evening as they start the quarter of Solbach, McLaughlin, Van Otterloo, Perry, and Price. Up to the top to Solbach as Solbach pump fakes. Her pass is behind Van Otterloo and out of bounds as they miscommunicate there, and that'll be a Bulldog turnover. But the Bulldogs, you can tell offensively, they're really used to the system now. Everyone knows where they're supposed to be. They know where the ball's supposed to go to next. And it's just a very, very efficient offense and playing a lot better than they did on Tuesday night already as Perry gets tagged for a foul trying to knock it away from Odland. So we'll see if the Lynx are able to get a few more shots off in this quarter. They had a couple decent looks from three-point range that they could not connect on in quarter number 1 as Perry takes a seat on the bench and Effrington comes in. Lynx have the basketball right now with 7:35 on the clock. Van Otterloo guarding on the perimeter, and that'll be...
Going to go on Van Otterloo apparently in a grab, they're saying. No? Yes?
Well, they're starting to...
It's on the Lynx.
Well, it was on the Lynx there. I guess maybe they grabbed her. This time they reached around Van Otterloo. Yeah, holding. So that'll be an offensive foul in Webster City, and their turnover issues continue here early into the second quarter. Right now, Effrington running the point for Algona. She flips it to the right to Solbach. Now back up top, Effrington. Lynx look to have shifted a little bit here defensively of 7:18 on the clock. Price in the high post, turns to face the bucket, comes outside to Solbach with 7:13 on the clock and a 20-point Bulldog lead. Solbach pump fakes. They go around the perimeter to Van Otterloo. Now down low to McLaughlin in the short corner. Up to the top, Effrington. Effrington spins, dishes out to Solbach with 7 on the shot clock. A bounce to Van Otterloo. A bullet down to the baseline to McLaughlin. Flips it up the right hand, and it rattles a couple times and drops through for McLaughlin.
Yeah, Lynx had shifted to his zone defense there.
Knocked away by Solbach out of bounds. Yeah, they went with a lot of man-to-man there in the first quarter, and that was something Coach McLaughlin talked about in the pregame. You know, first time they matched up with Webster City, Algona didn't really know what to expect of a new coaching staff, and a lot of that was man-to-man defense early, but Webster City obviously did not like what they saw in quarter number 1, so they'll switch it up here to a zone. Corner pocket 3 on the way for the Lynx. It is left short, and it's rebounded by Algona. Marissa Heaton couldn't connect. Her first attempt of the evening. Solbach feeds Price down on the post. Up top, Effrington. Now flips it to the right to McLaughlin. Right wing three-pointer, and she hits another one. Bulldogs making it rain threes, and it's 30-5. Webster City gets past the press. Galentine down the lane, sees Price, bounces to Peterson. Peterson, a short jumper, rolls off the rim, and Van Otterloo vacuums in the rebound. Here comes the Algona sophomore to the front court. Passes left to Solbach. Extra feed to Everton. Left open for three. That one's a little short. Offensive board, though, McLaughlin. McLaughlin reverse layup.
Oh,
and she
my
flips
goodness.
it in. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, there's a highlight shot right there.
Wow, a lot of traffic from McLaughlin as the pass is thrown off the back of a Lynx player, and it's a turnover. McLaughlin striding up the court, flips that one at a tough angle for the right-handed, missed it, as Peterson snatches the rebound. Here's Galentine bouncing it towards the lane. It's fumbled with, shot is up. It is no good. Van Otterloo boxes out, and that'll be a foul on Webster City.
Yeah, a little body language there. You can see the frustration on the Lynx players because they're in transition. They had an excellent opportunity, and again, unable to get the shot to fall, and then foul on the rebound.
And a timeout called right now, a 5:45 on the clock, a 30-second timeout as Algona leads at 32-5. We'll give a quick thank you to our video streaming sponsors making these broadcasts possible, as they include Algona State Farm Insurance agent Billy Offerman, also Algona Municipal Utilities, where they are community-owned for community benefit. High Endeavors, proud supporter of area athletics, and Ken the Auto Center, where it's not just about the car, it's about the care. Right now on our Greg Penning and Company Certified Public Accountants scoreboard, it's Algona 32 and Webster City 5. Greg, they're 2 points away from matching their Tuesday total, so obviously Coach McLaughlin is going to be happy about that one.
Well, and the neat thing is just what he talked about in the pregame. You know, some nights the shooting just isn't there for whatever reason, and the defensive intensity always can be. We've seen that. Only tonight, flipped the script on the shooting. Bulldogs have been hot, and the result is a big lead here in the first half.
Algona's won their last 3 matchups with Webster City as the Bulldogs come out of the timeout with the ball. Into the lane, Carroll now outside Schmidt. Heads into the lane, now feeds Carroll in the short corner of 5.5 minutes to go until intermission. McLaughlin across the foul line finds Schmidt in the near corner to the left of us. Weaves towards the baseline. It's poked at, but she hangs onto the ball. Knocked away from her briefly as she finds McLaughlin in the corner. McLaughlin around the screen, hooks it up with a tough angle, missed it. Carroll offensive board, and Carroll on the cleanup effort makes it 34-5.
Yeah, nice job by Carroll staying right there in position for the offensive putback.
This has been a series between these two teams largely dominated by Algona as Schmidt steals the pass, feeds a wide open McLaughlin under the basket, and she'll have the easy lay-in to make it 36-5. Bulldogs have won 30 of their last 34 against Webster City dating back to 2006 as the Lynx miss one right at the cup, and Van Otterloo grabs the rebound. Over to Efferton, pumps towards the lane, now comes to the top of the key, Van Otterloo. Bulldogs rotated around the perimeter to Schmidt as she dribbles towards the left, stops after a couple dribbles and finds the cutting Van Otterloo. She weaves into the lane, she draws the bump, and she'll shoot 2 as Peterson will pick up the foul for Webster City. Or check that, that'll go on Odlin rather than Peterson. So Casey Van Otterloo, a 63% foul shooter, will head to the line. She's been averaging just under 10 points per game this season for the Bulldogs. You don't often see her at the foul line, just the frequency of 3-point attempts she's taking, but it does seem like here in the second half of the year she started to drive a little bit more as teams have really jumped out on her to try to defend the 3.
Yeah, that's absolutely going to have to be part of her game because defenses are going to do that without a doubt.
And Van Otterloo splits the pair. Peterson grabs the rebound, and the Bulldogs maintain a 37-5 lead. Odland onto the right wing. They'll try to trap her. She'll pass away from it.
No, boy, she stepped on the sideline. She was right near, and when she turned to take the ball back out front, put her shoe on the edge of the black line. Yet another turnover on the Lynx.
Yeah, Bolu lost track of where she was after the pass by Odland, and a timeout is going to be called by Webster City. This time it's a full timeout, so we will take it right with them. It's Algona 37, Webster City 5 on Hometown Radio KLGA.
At Security State Bank, we realize each customer has a unique set of needs and goals. That's why we place a greater value on providing outstanding customer service. All products and services are designed for customers within our local community. We value each customer that walks through our door and wants to give them the personalized attention they deserve. Find out why Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne is your partner in community banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
With over a decade of experience, Jake Ingalls Electric is here to handle any electrical job you could possibly have. From anything agricultural related to complex commercial wiring to something simple like installing a new outlet in your home, Jake Ingalls Electric does it all. Have your wiring done right and call Jake at 515-320-4286. Jake Ingalls Electric, shockingly good service.
Coming out of the timeout, it is Algona 37 and Webster City 5. A dominant effort on all phases of the game for the Bulldogs so far, as it'll be Effrington bringing it across the timeline for the Bulldogs, clad in their pink jerseys tonight. Kosh knocked it away from Effrington briefly, but it's taken by Schmidt. Schmidt up top to Van Otterloo, left open for a three-pointer, and that one finds the bottom of the net. Another three by the Algona sophomore. Van Otterloo taking about 79% of her shots this year from three-point range, and she has hit on her third three-pointer of the night. Webster City tries to answer with a three, but it's off the front of the cup as Bolu couldn't connect, and Schmidt grabs the rebound. McLaughlin weaving into the front court, 40-5 Algona. She'll flip it over to the left to Van Otterloo, coming into the lane, hooking it up with the right-handed missing. Rebound is volleyballed in the lane, and it's taken by Kosh. Jogging it into the front court, it'll be Odland. Stopping as she sees Schmidt, passing it right to Anderson. Anderson's free ball is short, and it's rebounded by Van Otterloo. The last matchup, Algona won 61-39. That was in Webster City earlier this year, as Carroll finds her spot in the post, missed the layup, and the rebound is tapped out to Anderson for the Lynx. But Webster City has missed the three-point shooting they had in that game, as here's a spin move in the lane by Odland. She almost threw that one off the back of a Bulldog player, got it back, and then spun it up and in. As we're down to 3 minutes to go until halftime. 40-7 Algona. They had a season high in points of 72 against Charles City. That might be something to keep an eye on as we continue on in this ball game. Van Otterloo hands it off to Schmidt, just to the right of center. She flips it over to the right to McLaughlin. McLaughlin sidesteps. She'll launch the three and she'll swish it. Everybody's feeling it tonight for Algona.
Well, that's what happens sometimes in shooting, especially three-point shooting. Cold against Hampton to hot against Webster City.
McLaughlin is up to 12 points as we have a whistle and a foul. That is going to be number 6 against the Bulldogs here in this first half.
Bulldogs now 7 out of 11 from long range.
Perry and Price check into the game to replace Carroll and Schmidt for Algona. Webster City brings Julia Sturr back into the game. It's flipped into play to Galentine. Galentine launches a three, but that's an air ball as it lands in the pocket of McLaughlin. The Algona sophomore passes it up to Van Otterloo. Inside Perry. Perry bangs it up and she scores. Perry took some hard contact and she drew the foul. She'll have a chance to finish off a three-point play.
Yeah, that's the thing I really like about Perry inside. You mentioned her touch being so much better than it was earlier in her career, and she's certainly developed that way. But her strength, she uses her space so well underneath the basket. She gets hit, but has the strength to still get the ball up, and another chance at a three-point play here.
45-7 Algona. Perry's free throw rattles around about 3 or 4 times on the cup, but it drops through to make it 46-7. 2:18 on the clock until halftime. Van Otterloo jumps a pass. She knocks it away as it heads out of bounds, denying it from Kosh. Very nearly another steal and coast-to-coast bucket for Algona. As Webster City will bring Marissa Heaton into the ball game. And that is going to send Odland onto the bench. Galentine, the left-hander, handling it right now for Webster City. Bouncing it into the corner to Bolu. Down low to Sturr. Sees Perry. Tried to thread it around her, but it's knocked out of bounds by Perry of 2:03 on the clock. Perry's just forcing Sturr all the way down to the baseline on that last play, as it'll be Bolu, the junior, to trigger it in from the baseline. Bolu flips it up to the top of the key where it's caught by Kosh. Over to the left, Galentine. Swerves away from Solbach, bounces it down to Sturr. Shot is blocked by Price, but she got some hand as well, and it'll be 2 free throws by Sturr. Well, free throw shooting is definitely another area for Webster City to try to improve as a young team. They're just 49% from the foul line as a team. First one on the way for Sturr, and she'll drain that one, 46-8.
Well, making that one just puts them at 25% in this game. They were 0 for 3 before that. Now just 1 out of 4.
Well, Webster City, they were in free throw shooting jail against Clear Lake on Tuesdays. They went 0 for 7 from the charity stripe against the Lions. That was in a 61-27 loss. Solbach for the basketball right now, looking for the baseline, and turns back towards the right. Outside, McLaughlin has it, now left Solbach. Solbach penetrating off the dribble, flips it up to the left hand, it swirls out of the cup, and it's rebounded by Kosh with 1:39 to go. Algona 46, Webster City 8. Lynx have the basketball right now as Kosh comes around to Bolu, now Galentine. Far side of the court to Heaton. Heaton looking for the baseline, and we're going to have a whistle and a foul As this one will go against Algona, setting up a 1-1 by the Lynx.
A good learning opportunity for Casey Van Otterloo. On the drive a couple times tonight, she's got called for tagging or bumping the girl on the drive.
So that'll be second foul by Casey Van Otterloo, who right now has 12 points for the Bulldogs. The first of the 1-1 swirls out of the cup, but Sturr chases down the offensive board, and then she throws it away as Solbach intercepts it. Now 1:22 to go until halftime. McLaughlin on the near side of the court flips it into Perry. It rolls away from her, though, off her hands, and Webster City able to come up with the turnover. Kosh across the Bulldog logo at half court, hands it off. Heaton, pump faked on the 3, heads into the lane, floats it up, bounces off the back of the rack, no good, and McLaughlin grabs another board. 1 minute until halftime, up to Van Otterloo, now it's McLaughlin on the perimeter. To Price, outside of the lane now, out to Van Otterloo, back into Price, and a reach in and a foul. That was Heaton trying to knock the ball away from Price, picking it up. And a 1-1 is going to be set up here for the Algona junior. Peterson checking in and Kosh out for Webster City. Van Otterloo to the bench for Algona as Effrington comes in. And a 1-1 for Najee Price, who's shooting about 57% from the line this season.
Bulldogs just 3 out of 6 tonight from the line.
They're shooting better on three-pointers tonight, Craig, than they are on foul shots.
Yes,
as
they
Perry
are.
tries to peel the offensive rebound away. Price reached in there as well, but it was picked up by Webster City, and then a travel. Galentine picked it up, but then she stood up, and that'll be a turnover by the Lynx. So with 48 seconds left, Bulldogs to inbound from the baseline of Effrington. Effrington looking. Bulldogs send 2 players to the right. Nothing opens up immediately, so they'll flip it into Solbach beyond the perimeter. Solbach left around the Price screen, trying to pass to McLaughlin along the baseline, but it's knocked away and taken by the Lynx. Here comes Galentine up the far side of the court. Sees Effrington and picks up her dribble. Around the perimeter to Peterson. 34 seconds to go in the quarter. Solbach for the knockaway, but Peterson chases it back down. Now Bolu over to Galentine, driving in, tries to thread the needle inside, but McLaughlin jumped in front of the pass and knocked it out of bounds.
Bulldogs taking some chances defensively there, going after the steals, but nice job again by McLaughlin underneath the basket of anticipating a bounce pass.
Bolu bouncing it into Sturr with 24 on the clock. Solbach reaches in, and that'll be a held ball. Possession arrow is towards Webster City, so they'll keep it. 22.2 seconds right now on the game clock until we get to halftime. Bolu from the baseline looking, finding Sturr. Sturr bangs it off the glass and scores it.
Sturr for 2.
That'll make it 46-10. Algona still on top with 15 seconds to go in the quarter. They will wind some clock here and take the final shot as Effrington's up to the right of the Bulldog logo. Gets the screen from Perry. She flips it left as Perry rolls off the screen. 4 seconds to go. Perry driving in. Finds an open McLaughlin. Lets it fly at the end of the quarter. And that one is off the rim, no good. And that'll bring an end to quarter number 2. Well, Algona continues to extend their lead as they take a 46-10 advantage into halftime over Webster City. You're listening to high school basketball here on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
More Sport Club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Reeb's Wicked Good Bar and Grill. For wicked good food, drinks, and service, you gotta go to Reeb's.
CB Grain Solutions, satisfaction guaranteed.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
Dump it. They do the dirty work so you don't have to.
Albert Electric. Flip the switch to Albert Electric.
Grassmasters, growing satisfied customers.
Greg Penny and Company CPA, certified public accountants, where everyone counts.
Yemlin Builders and Apartments, quality apartments for rent, beauty and craftsmanship that will never go out of style.
Daylight Donuts, open early with delicious donuts and great coffee.
All sponsors of this broadcast. High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio. Brought to you by these sports club members.
Farmers State Bank is proud to be a part of our community for over 125 years with offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Jensen Chiropractic, care for the whole family.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Phil's Auto and Truck Repair, service is the difference.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Oak Crest Funeral Services, celebrating a life lived.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Algona Frame and Auto Body, collision specialists, a total commitment to excellence.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service, call 295-SOFT.
Algona Pizza Ranch, there's so much to love.
All bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Halftime here at Algona High School is right now the Bulldogs lead Webster City by a score of 46-10. Before we talk more about the girls' game, though, we're going to bring in boys head coach Jared Cecil, giving us a couple minutes here to preview tonight's game. Coach, first of all, thank you for stopping by. Obviously, it's been a good time for your team after winter break. You picked up a 5-game winning streak. What about a couple of the big things that you've liked for your team here coming out of that break?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, a lot of things we worked on pre-Christmas. We're still working on post-Christmas time, but just a number of things that are gelling together, and the kids being a lot more comfortable with each other. You know, we talked, you know, our last ball game, I think we saw 3 or 4 different defenses throughout the night, and kids just really responding on the floor in the flow of the game has been a productive change for us probably since early on in the season, when changes took us a little more time to adapt to. So the kids adapting well, and again feeding off of each other much better than we were early in the season.
And, Coach, in each of these games coming out of the break, you've allowed 52 points or less as the defense has stepped up their game. What are they doing well here after break?
Again, back to some teamwork, right? Some team energy together, and certainly communications picked up, which always helps your defense.
Coach, another big North Central Conference game tonight as Webster City comes to town here with a 9-1 record. What have you seen from Webster City on film here that sticks out to you?
A lot of guys that have played a lot of basketball for them, and a lot of talent. You know, they're putting up good numbers. They're running a lot of wins through their program right now. So some key players, and pretty solid, you know, in their starting lineup. So definitely some matchup things that we've been talking about, working about. But they play good fundamental basketball, right? And they're in, obviously, every game as they're winning a bunch, but they just kind of do things fundamentally sound and wait for you to make a mistake.
Well, Coach, right now Webster City's allowed the least points in the North Central Conference. So defensively, what are you expecting them to throw at you tonight?
We'll start with, we'll assume some man-to-man out of them. But again, we're pretty much prepared that we might see anything as teams go. You know, we've had some better success recently with some different defenses against us, so that's a step in the right direction for us. So bottom line, we got some things we're going to try and do on offense no matter what they're running, and we'll see how that works out tonight.
Well, Coach, as we wrap up for tonight, what do you feel is the biggest key for a Bulldog victory in this game?
Our biggest key probably all year has been just some consistency. So, you know, we talked that a lot our last few games of just trusting the process over and over and over. Sometimes you just got to trade baskets, and then when you get a chance to steal 1 or 2, you make that little bit of climb and then be content to trade baskets for a little bit again. So just stay in the course for 32 minutes.
Well, Coach, we're looking forward to seeing tonight's game. Thank you for stopping by here at halftime.
Thanks a lot, Tyler.
That is Algona boys head coach Jared Cecil previewing the upcoming game, Algona against Webster City, in game number 2 of our doubleheader. As consistency is going to be a big key for the Bulldogs in that one. It is the 9-1 Webster City Lynx and the 8-3 Algona Bulldogs in game number 2 of our doubleheader. But in the meantime, let's transition back to the girls' game here, as right now it's Algona with a 46-10 lead at halftime of this one. And Greg, boy, impressive stats in the first half by Algona, impressive offense and defensive performances, and really, I think this is exactly what the Bulldogs were looking for coming out of Tuesday's game against Hampton Dumont Cal.
Got my mic back in place here, but yeah, exactly right. You know, when you struggle a little bit shooting, like Coach McLaughlin hinted in the pregame, you want the shooters to not hesitate on the next shot, because you start thinking about it. Now you do throw your shot off. So stay in rhythm, keep going. The shots will start falling, and boy, have they tonight for the Bulldogs. Here in the first half, I've got the Bulldogs shooting 18 out of 30 from the field. That's 65% shooting, 7 out of 12 from behind the arc. The one place they've had a little bit of trouble is the free throw line. They made 3 out of 7, so maybe start shooting those free throws behind the arc. I don't know. They've held Webster City, you know, admittedly a young team. They switched coaches just shortly before this season started. So this is a team that really had a challenge out of the gates here to put things together while they were moving down the road. And they're fairly young, and some of that is showing certainly against the defensive energy the Bulldogs brought out there in that first quarter. I've got the Lynx with 15 turnovers. at just halftime of this ball game. So that has really taken away a lot of opportunities, and unfortunately for Webster City, the opportunities they've had really haven't been falling. They've made just 4 out of 18 field goals. That's just 22%. And have made just 1 3-point shot out of 10 attempts. And even worse trouble at the line, making just 1 out of 6. So really a rough shooting night for Webster City. I think you got to give a lot of credit to the Bulldog defense and really pressuring them and getting them to hurry up. And this is a young team from Webster City, really without things put together, cannot afford to hurry up. They've got to slow down, keep everything under control. Bulldog defense has managed to get them going a little bit too fast, and their shooting goals are really multiplied. And for the Bulldogs, good defensive intensity and accompanied with hot shooting here in the first half. Good ball movement, again, by the Bulldogs. And it's just that tonight it's really paid off because they've hit those shots. And here we are at halftime, heading in the second half with a running clock.
And I'll tell you what, if you look at the Bulldogs at the start of the season compared to now, if you watch their offense at the start of the season, there's just that little bit of uncertainty of where the ball's supposed to go next, where players are supposed to be on the floor. But I'll tell you what, right now it looks just smooth as butter out there for Algona. Everyone's in the right spot. Like you said, great ball movement in the first half. And really, there's no hesitation. At this point, they've gotten their offense to the point where it feels automatic. They're not thinking about what they're doing anymore. They're just doing it at this point. And that is a really good spot to be in as a team.
Oh, absolutely it is. And I think that's an excellent point you made. You can see real growth in the Algona girls, and you saw it repeatedly when they're running the offense. As you mentioned early in the season, you'd see somebody cut off by a defender. They'd stop, pick up the dribble, and kind of in panic, looking around, let's see, where can I go with the ball? Now they get cut off. They know where a teammate is, and we've got bounce passes. We've got passes back out to the wing. They know where teammates are, and really stay relaxed on offense. And it's led to some good shooting opportunities, and they've been making them count for the most part tonight.
The Bulldogs have made them count tonight with a 46-10 advantage at halftime in this one. We'll take one final timeout, and the second half of this game is coming up next on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
More sports club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Kasuth Regional Health Center. Make KRHC your home for healthcare.
North Iowa Appliance Center, Highway 18 East Algona, where they sell the best and service the rest.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country. Highway 18 West.
Algona Plumbing and Heating, where a good flush always beats a full house.
Runkey Brothers Full Service. Experience the Runkey Brothers difference for all of your auto service and repair needs.
Erpelding and Boyd CPAs. They're not just about taxes.
Erpelding Excavating Enterprise. Let them take care of your grading, excavating, and drainage needs.
Hy-Vee. Use the Fuel Saver card. Fill your cart, fuel your car.
AK's Chrome Kitchen. When you come in, your family.
All sports club members bringing you this broadcast.
Getting ready for the second half here on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube live stream. It is looking to be a quick second half for the Algona Bulldogs if they can maintain their lead. Right now up 46-10 over the Webster City Lynx. As Greg mentioned right before the break, the Bulldogs will start the second half with the clock running as they will have possession. Bulldogs will move from left to right on the radio dial, and they will start off here with their first possession of the second half after a torrid shooting first half. I'm not quite sure they can match those first half numbers, Greg, but boy, you will definitely take a first half like that anytime if you're Algona.
Yeah, 60% from the field, over 50 from the three-point arc. Tremendous shooting first half.
Bulldogs have Effrington on the left wing, pumps inside and passes it left to Van Otterloo, who pops out to the top of the key. A bounce pass to Solbach, fakes towards the corner, weaves over to the left as she finds Effrington. Effrington drives right to the lane, gets cut off, and she underhands it outside to McLaughlin. McLaughlin back to the bucket, flips it up to the top of the key to Solbach. Solbach spins. Solbach hands it off to Effrington. Webster City trying to defend well as they bounce it to Perry, and that's a takeaway. That was a great defensive possession by the Lynx. The Bulldogs patiently worked it, but did not have anything open up. Far side of the court, it's Anderson. Lets a three-pointer fly, missed off the front of the cup, and Perry hugs the rebound as Peterson goes sliding by, but then Perry threw it away as Bolu takes it. Bolu waits for all her teammates to catch up. Peterson got behind the Bulldogs, lays it off the window, and puts it in for two. That'll make it 46-12. Webster City, their first bucket of the second half as Peterson has her first two of the night. Van Otterloo's in the near corner, comes out top to Solbach. Shuffling towards the side. dribbles towards the left, and she was bumped and fouled. That'll be number 1 on Webster City this half as Odland is going to pick it up. Her third of make that 4th of the evening.
Called on Allie Odland.
Well, Odland, one of the lone seniors of experience on this Webster City team, as she's leading the team in rebounds, assists, and steals, but now playing with 4 fouls. It's flipped into play, and Peterson will intercept that pass. Peterson gets it up the court to Kosh, left of the lane, bangs into McLaughlin, missed the shot, followed her own miss and put it up and in.
Kosh for 2.
So Webster City grabs the first 4 points of this third quarter. Bulldogs had a 25-5 scoring advantage in quarter number 1, a 21-5 scoring advantage in quarter 2, as McLaughlin dishes outside to Van Otterloo. Van Otterloo weaves towards the lane, now back to the far corner to McLaughlin. Across the lane, out to Van Otterloo in front of the Algona bench. To the left around the perimeter, it's poked away, but rolls right to Solbach. 6:01 on the clock. Solbach about to get to Van Otterloo, puts it off the window, but missed it. It rolls out of bounds, and it'll go back to Webster City.
Just about too easy there. Bulldogs, 4 possessions here in the second half, turned it over 3 times. And that was the first shot they got off, and missed that one point blank.
Yeah, that's one where I would say Van Otterloo owes Solbach an assist on that last play, as it's bounced into the corner. Webster City for the ball right now. Odland in between 2 defenders, and she had her pocket picked by Perry as she entered the lane. Up to Van Otterloo, finds McLaughlin in the lane, turns her back to the bucket and comes over to the right wing to Effrington. In the corner, Van Otterloo rainbows a 3 and hits another one.
Van Otterloo for 3.
Yeah, the confidence is there. Nice shooting form, nice arc on the ball, a lot of confidence.
15 points by Casey Van Otterloo, as banging inside is Odland, and she will draw the foul from Alayla Perry. It's been a frustrating evening for Odland with just 2 points so far, but she'll head to the charity stripe.
On Alayla Perry, her 3rd.
Hard to keep up intensity when you come out of the half, 46-10.
And that one swirls out of the drain, no good. This is really a situation, I can only remember this group of Algona Bulldogs being in once, and that would have been the game against Charles City earlier this year. They ended up winning 72-21, as that shot is up and it is good. 49-15. But even the first matchup against Webster City was much closer than this one. 61-39 was the score in that one. As Solbach finds Perry at the foul line, and her pass is intercepted as Kosh jumps in front of it.
That's the 4th turnover in 5 possessions.
Bulldogs have gotten a little sloppy here in the second half, as sailing to the bucket and laying it in is Odland.
Well, hats off to the Lynx. They have not quit, have they?
No, they've come out and they have played here to start the second half. No doubt about it, as Effrington has it on the perimeter. Effrington wants to drive, turns outside to Solbach. Solbach flips it to the right to McLaughlin. McLaughlin holds the ball over her head. Back to the bucket now. She underhands it to Van Otterloo. Into the lane, and Van Otterloo will get bumped and fouled. Number 2 against Webster City. And now the Bulldogs will bring Schmidt and Carroll off the bench, as Perry and Solbach will head onto the Pine. Sturr comes in for Webster City, as Sturr runs in, and she'll replace Peterson. Also, Gallantine's going to run on here late and replace Anderson. Already down to 3:52. That running clock, boy, Greg, it gets you every time. You look up, and all of a sudden, it's more than halfway through the third quarter.
Yeah, moves really fast.
McLaughlin comes outside to a wide-open Schmidt. She'll let it fly for 3, but she left it short. Rebound is chased down, and McLaughlin uses the long arms to snatch it. She drives in, missed it off the glass. Offensive board, Carroll, and Carroll draws the foul. Well, there you go for Algona. That's, you bring a couple players off the bench, you get a little boost of energy there for the offensive board by Carroll, and it'll be Effrington to inbound from the baseline. Bulldogs are stacked up here. They'll find Schmidt on the block. Schmidt turns back to the bucket, and she lays it in. She turned away from the bucket briefly, then turned back inside and got the lay-in to make it 51-17. And now Webster City will throw one away. Here comes McLaughlin striding up the floor. McLaughlin to the bucket, puts it off the window and puts it in. Make it 53-17 as McLaughlin up to 14 points right now for Algona. Webster City gets it down into the corner. A 3-point attempt on the way is airballed by Bolu. Offensive board, though, for Sturr. Up to the top of the key to Kosh. Pump fakes, and she pumped a little bit too hard there. She traveled. So turnover of 2:39 and ticking. 53-17, the Algona lead right now. Bulldogs, though, they've largely played pretty well on offense here coming out of winter break. Besides that game against Hampton-Dumont Cal on Tuesday, on Friday night, they got over the 60-point mark against Clarion Goldfield Dows, and then Saturday, even though it was a loss to Spencer, that was a game where the Bulldogs led in the fourth quarter as it's knocked away by McLaughlin. Flips it out to Efrington, and Efrington will draw the foul.
And just that last exchange, I like Norma McLaughlin being really strong going after that ball. I think she's made real growth there. Loose opportunities like that, diving in there and snatching it away.
McLaughlin inbounds it to Schmidt as we're under 2 minutes to go in quarter number 3. Van Otterloo to the right, handing it off to Efrington. They almost bump into each other, and now Efrington heads around the Carroll screen, bouncing it outside to McLaughlin. Driving baseline, wrapping the pass into the corner to Van Otterloo, lets it fly again. That one rolls off the rim, offensive board Efrington, and she hits it off the side of the rim, and now here comes Webster City. Up the court, it's Odland. Odland looking to drive. Odland stumbling, she flips it away, and it's intercepted by Van Otterloo. Another turnover by the Lynx as there's now less than a minute and a half to go in quarter number 3. Efrington has it, crossing the foul line, onto the right wing to Schmidt. Bodies fall to the floor. Schmidt finding an open Carroll. She'll shoot the jumper, and she launched it way long. She was wide open that time and got a little excited, and now here come the Lynx the other way. Sidestepping is Odland, flips it up, and she rolls it in.
Odland for 2.
That'll make it 53-19 as Odland now with 5 points in the second half, 7 points total as she leads Webster City. She has continued to play aggressively here as Efrington crosses the timeline. Heads to the right around McLaughlin, now flips it inside to Carroll. Carroll out to Van Otterloo, but there's a travel first.
Yep, just to get herself an angle for that pass to the corner, picked up her pivot foot.
You can almost tell by her body language, she knew Van Otterloo was wide open there, but maybe didn't have a great grip on the ball. That time she tried to kind of pivot away from the 2 or 3 defenders that were with her in the lane. 27 seconds to go in the third quarter, 53-19 Algona, and the pass is tipped and intercepted by Schmidt. Gets it up to McLaughlin, striding to the bucket, and she bounces it in. Making 55-19 right now. And a pass tipped away by McLaughlin with 10 seconds to go in the quarter. Bulldogs can get off the last shot here if they want it. Efrington over to the right to Van Otterloo, lets it fly at the end of the quarter, and she hits it again. What a night by Casey Van Otterloo as the third quarter buzzer sounds, and Algona takes a 58-19 lead. Van Otterloo now with 18 points as we head to the fourth quarter. It is Algona 58 and Webster City 19 here on Hometown Radio, KLGA Algona.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at moneypass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC. For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
Rolling into the fourth quarter as Algona has a 58-19 lead over Webster City. I'm Tyler Lance alongside Greg Stewart. And Greg, someone better call an electrician because the Bulldogs are shooting the lights out tonight. They have been launching three-pointers and drilling them at an extremely high rate of success as Webster City has the basketball starting off the fourth quarter. Running clock in effect. A floater by Anderson misses to the right, and Perry grabs the rebound.
Yeah, Bulldogs still at this point 9 out of 16 behind the arc, over 50%.
Into the post, Najee Price bangs it off the window, missed it long. Perry tried the rebound. It got knocked away from behind, though, off the hands of Peterson, as Algona will keep it. Right now, Van Otterloo with 18, McLaughlin with 14, and Perry with 10 to lead Algona. Kosh, the leading Webster City scorer, with 7 points. Laney Van Tiger from the baseline lobs it into the foul line to Perry. It got poked away, but Solbach picks it up. Bulldogs also on the floor right now have Caitlin Burns, number 10, as Solbach gets inside and she'll lay it in for 2.
Yeah, smooth move by Solbach there, penetrating and splitting the defenders.
Solbach has 5 points this evening as Webster City now has the basketball, down 60-19. Shot misses off to the right, and Van Tiger grabs the rebound. This is going to be some valuable time for the Bulldogs to have a little bit of a different unit playing together, as Solbach will get called for the travel and she'll turn it over. Bulldogs, they don't have a ton of blowouts. I mean, they have played some solid games this year, but really have only been playing in a couple of blowouts. So you don't often get a whole chance to play Najlee Price and Laney Van Tiger and also play Burns for the whole fourth quarter like they'll get a chance to do tonight if they want to.
Right. Good experience. A little long three, just about.
That was a three from the parking lot by Anderson. It rolled off the rim, no good. Offensive board, but a travel as Webster City rebounded there and fell down. That was Olivia Burns in for the first time this evening. 6:15 on the clock, 60-19 Bulldogs in the lead. Algona rolling right towards win number 10 of the season. Getting very close to last season's win total as they got up to 11 last year. And still plenty of conference schedule left to go. Over to the left to Burns. Burns looking to drive, gets cut off as she turns back around and bounces it onto the wing to Price with 5:54 on the clock. Down in the post to Perry. Perry outside Solbach. Solbach across the foul line. Back into Perry. Perry off the window, but she missed it.
That's too bad because that was a pretty pass by Solbach.
And Webster City will throw it up the length of the court as it'll head out of bounds for another turnover. McLaughlin, Van Otterloo, and Efferton will come in as Burns, Solbach, and Van Tiger head to the bench. So one little final push here for the starters, plus Price. With 5:23 to go. Well, Bulldogs are going to have a busy schedule here coming up. As on Monday, they'll host Iowa Falls Alden. Then Tuesday, it'll be Humboldt coming to town. So this is just kicking off a big portion of the North Central schedule as Van Otterloo goes skidding inside and she draws the foul. She'll shoot 2 here. Boy, Greg, we were at that first matchup against Humboldt. I'll tell you what, that was a really good game in the first half, but one of the best halves of basketball the Bulldogs have played, blowing it open in the second half. And obviously tonight didn't quite play a team the caliber of Humboldt necessarily, but this is one of their better halves as well when you look at half number 1 of tonight's game.
Yeah, half number 1 I thought was very efficient offensively, and as you mentioned, they're really starting to look comfortable with placement, spacing, ball movement.
And Van Otterloo drains the second foul shot. That'll make it 61-19. Bulldogs have exceeded the 60-point mark multiple times this season. They only did it once last year, but it's become a much more regular occurrence this season. Driving baseline and drawing a foul. That'll be Burns drawing it for Webster City. Bulldogs picking up their second of the half.
Price, I believe.
Yep, that'll go against Price, her first.
Personal foul called on Najlee Price.
And Carroll and Schmidt will check in as Price heads to the bench, as well as Perry. Perry checking out right now of 10 points. Van Otterloo still the leading scorer of 19 for Algona. Van Otterloo actually had 14 last time these two teams matched up, so she's had a couple very good games against Webster City. Burns driving inside, giving it to Odland. Bouncing it down low to Peterson. Peterson off the window, and she'll score it for 2.
Nice bounce pass, interior that time. Good job by the Lynx.
61-21 Algona. On the other end, Schmidt trying to get to the bucket, and she traveled. Could not hang on to that pivot foot, and the Bulldogs have struggled a little bit with turnovers here in the second half.
Yeah, they have. That's number 8, according to my unofficial stats.
And that's with the really shortened game with the clock running as well. As it'll be Burns into the lane. Outside it goes to Kosh. She'll let the three-pointer fly, and she'll hit it. Well, if you're Webster City, it's not going to be a win tonight, but they've gotten a little bit of positive momentum here in the second half.
Yeah, they really have, and it's, you get down like that in the first half, it'd be very easy for them to just hang their heads and let's get this thing over with and forget it. They've done anything but. They've come out, played hard on defense. Another turnover, yes, it is. Another Bulldog turnover.
As the Bulldogs will throw it away and turn it over. Odland with 7, Kosh with 5 right now for Webster City. They're leading the way for the Lynx. As we have a timeout on the floor with 3:26 on the clock. 30-second timeout, so with that timeout, another quick thank you here to our video streaming sponsors, Algona State Farm Insurance agent Billy Offerman, Algona Municipal Utilities, Hawing Endeavors, and Chemna Auto Center. Well, Greg, I'll tell you what, our night is just getting started because we have a big matchup coming up in just a little bit with the boys game. Bulldogs, like you mentioned, they have 5 wins in a row on the boys' side, and they're facing a 9-1 Webster City team who just took their first loss against Clear Lake. So part 1 has been a good story for the Bulldogs, but we'll see if part 2 can play out the same way. Obviously, I think game number 2 will be a little bit closer, but certainly a highly anticipated matchup coming up in game 2.
I would be shocked if that second game isn't a little closer than this one.
Yeah, that second one on paper has the feel of a game that could come down to a few possessions in the fourth quarter as we have a jump ball in the lane. Price and Peterson getting tied up. Or check that. That'll be a foul against Peterson.
It was, yep. Near official called a foul.
So 3 minutes on the clock. It's Van Tiger, Schmidt, Burns, Price, and Carroll for Algona. The starters are done for the night. And there's a throwaway. Burns tracks it down, though, saving the turnover. She finds Van Tiger. Van Tiger to the baseline, back to the bucket, now outside again to Burns. In the corner, Van Tiger holds it over her head. Guarded tightly in the perimeter. She finds Carroll, top of the key. Takes a couple dribbles towards the right. Hands it off to Burns, curling around now to Schmidt. Schmidt spins, defender falls down to the ground. Bulldogs continue to work around the perimeter. Burns is left open. She does not want to shoot it there as she bounces it back to Van Tiger. Launches at the end of the shot clock, and the Bulldogs are going to run out of time. Well, technically, Webster City should have taken that one out of bounds, but they'll just let it play there as a three ball's on the way by Kosh. Missed it off the front of the rack, and Price grabs the rebound, but then Price traveled after the rebound. So Bulldogs will continue to run some more subs into the ball game. They've got Jensen as well as Kaler in right now, is heading to the bench. Price and Carroll, and also Schmidt. Just down to the final 150 in this one. 61-24 is the Algona advantage. Webster City will try Peterson three ball. She left it short, and the Bulldogs grab the rebound with 1:40 left. And that is going to be a travel on Algona, so I'll turn it over. A minute and a half left to go in this one. But boy, this is going to be 7-1 in the conference right now for Algona. If that only loss to Clear Lake, that was right before winter break. You know, it feels like both Algona teams, the boys and the girls, as Webster City has it right now, really kind of took that loss before break to Clear Lake to heart, because both these teams have really played lights out since that time, as the Bulldogs rip it away with 1:08 left. But winter break came at the right time for both squads, as there's a drive inside, and the layup is missed as Peterson snatches the rebound for Webster City. 1 minute left to go in this one. Webster City will miss one off the glass. No good there from Vankum, and the Bulldogs grab the rebound. They almost throw it away, but they'll get it up the court to Burns. Burns running the floor, 46 seconds left to go. And an Algona 61-24 lead. Three-point try on the way is missed. Offensive board Bulldogs. Jensen follows it up, and she puts it in for two. That'll make it 63-24. Here's the final 32 seconds are going to tick away in this one. Webster City will try to get one final bucket in here before regulation expires. Down to the final 24 seconds to go in this one. Lynx working the ball around the perimeter. It's knocked away briefly, and that'll be a reach-in foul on Algona with 15 seconds and ticking. So Galentine will head to the baseline to inbound it. 8 seconds left to go in this one. That foul going against Cecil for Algona. They'll flip it into Peterson. Down to 2, down to 1. Peterson gets a shot off before the buzzer as it's no good. And that'll bring an end to this one. A dominant all-around performance by Algona as they win by a final of 63-24. Bulldogs are able to pick up win number 10 of the season. They are now 10-5 and a stellar 7-1 in North Central Conference play. Webster City dropping to 3-12 as they fall to 1-8 in the conference. Well, we are just getting started, folks. Stick around here as we'll take a look at the final stats for tonight's game coming up in a few minutes. And, of course, the boys' game coming up in about 15 to 20 minutes as well, right here on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
More sports club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Algona Livestock Sales. Sales every Monday.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce. 2 sauces for all seasons.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Holmes Animal Clinic. Animals large and small. They love them all.
Signworks for all your signage needs, as well as printed shirts, caps, and jackets. Stop in or call 295-9544.
Style Salon. Your salon in Algona. Create yourself.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance. Visit their studio or danceconnectionbymichelle.com.
TAFE Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong. Keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
All proud sponsors of this broadcast.
I loved playing high school sports. I loved the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, all the pageantry, and I wanted to keep playing. But I graduated. No colleges called, and neither did the pros. So, to stay close to the game I loved, I decided to become a high school official. You know, a referee. When I played high school sports, I learned the importance of integrity, good sportsmanship, and respect for the rules. Now, as a high school official, I get to help model these same values to others. Maybe the colleges and the pros didn't call, but the kids in Iowa did. And now, I'm enjoying the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, and all the pageantry of high school sports all over again.
Interested in becoming a licensed high school official? Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn more and begin the application process.
At Security State Bank, we realize each customer has a unique set of needs and goals. That's why we place a greater value on providing outstanding customer service. All products and services are designed for customers within our local community. We value each customer that walks through our door and wants to give them the personalized attention they deserve. Find out why Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne is your partner in community banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
Back here at Algona High School, where the Bulldogs dominate game number 1 of our basketball doubleheader, winning it 63-24 over Webster City. I'm Tyler Lance, my partner's Greg Stewart. And Greg, the Bulldogs raced out to a 46-10 lead at halftime on their way to the 63-24 win. And I'll tell you what, they set the tone right off the bat. Bulldogs won the opening tip. They immediately passed it up the court to Casey Van Otterloo. She caught, she shot, and she hit the three-pointer, and that really set the tone for the whole night.
Yeah, it really did. And I think the Lynx turned it over the first 3 times they had the ball as well against the Bulldog press. So offense and defense both clicking right out of the gate tonight for the Bulldogs, and that's what you hope to see in a game like that. You know, don't relax a little bit because Webster City might be down this year. Get out there, go after them, take control of this game at the opening jump, and the Bulldogs did just that. Take a look at the unofficial stats as I have them. Mentioned turnovers. The Lynx had turned it over 15 times in that first half when the game was really decided. They ended up with 25 turnovers, so that's a plus for the Bulldog defense. The Bulldogs themselves ended up turning it over 18 times, but 8 of those in that last quarter. So really, for the first 3 quarters, at halftime they had only 6 turnovers, and the end of 3 quarters just 10. So things got a little bit more lax probably in the last quarter as there was lots of subbing going on both ways there late in the ball game. Shooting for the night was a story for the Bulldog offense, certainly. I have them unofficially 25 out of 47, 53% from the field, and that included 9 three-point makes out of 17 tries, also 53%. So they were shooting equally well all over the field, with the exception of the free throw line we mentioned earlier. They ended up 4 out of 9, 44% at the line. So like to see that bump up, but certainly not a factor in tonight's game when you can hit 9 three-pointers and hold the Lynx to just 29% shooting. They made 10 out of 35. Included in that, just 2 makes from behind the arc out of 16 attempts. They made 3 out of 8 free throws on the night. So, as you mentioned, this one was decided right out of the gate by the Bulldogs. They took this game by the throat and really held on. And that big make by Van Otterloo when they struggled last time out, I think, you know, that kind of sends a signal, helps everybody relax that, hey, things are going to be all right tonight. I think Casey had 5 three-pointers tonight. And so her shooting was back. Bulldogs were very efficient on offense and really did a nice job on defense. Good, solid game all the way around. And nice win for the Bulldogs.
Very nice win for the Bulldogs as Casey Van Otterloo led the way with 19 points. Lauren McLaughlin had 14 and Alayla Perry 10 for Algona. On the Webster City side of things, it was Allie Odlin scoring 7 and Olivia Kosh scoring 5 on a very quiet offensive night for the Lynx. As you mentioned, Bulldogs now 10-5 on the season. They are 7-1 in the North Central, trying to keep pace near the top as they near a really tough stretch of schedule here coming up. They face a good Iowa Falls team that right now is about 500 coming into the gym on Monday night. Then, of course, on Tuesday, it'll be a game against Humboldt, and really not too far from that, you've got Clear Lake coming down the line once again as well, which the Bulldogs certainly, I'm sure, are still a little bit sore about that game the first time, but if you can keep rolling here, pick up a few wins, you can get in the position to try to hand Clear Lake their first North Central Conference loss. But obviously, you don't want to look ahead to that. You want to keep playing at this level, pick up the wins that you can, and especially take advantage of being at your home court here for the next two.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say that you don't want to look ahead to Clear Lake. Because you got some big games you could stumble against Iowa Falls or Humboldt. But the Bulldogs really find themselves exactly where they want to be. They're 7-1, just a game out. They feel they did not play real well at Clear Lake, particularly in half number 1. And now they have an opportunity to play them here in a week and a half back on the Algona court. So the only way that one is really meaningful is if the Bulldogs take care of business between now and then. And Humboldt certainly will come back and try to snatch one away. Humboldt, Algona, and Clear Lake, top 3 teams in the conference. Iowa Falls right there in the periphery of that. So those will be big games coming up for the Bulldogs, but it's comforting to see the Bulldogs play so well in the first half tonight. It seems like the confidence level is there. They're playing really good ball at this point.
Absolutely, as the North Central Conference will really sort itself out over the next couple weeks on the girls' side of things. So once again, it's Algona winning tonight, 63-24. We'll take a timeout and hear from our sponsors, and we will get you ready for the boys' game coming up in just a few minutes here on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
More Sports Club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Reeb's Wicked Good Bar and Grill. For wicked good food, drinks, and service, you gotta go to Reeb's.
CB Grain Solutions, satisfaction guaranteed.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
Dump it. They do the dirty work so you don't have to.
Albert Electric. Flip the switch to Albert Electric.
Grassmasters, growing satisfied customers.
Greg Penny & Company CPA, certified public accountants, where everyone counts.
Yemlin Builders and Apartments, quality apartments for rent, beauty and craftsmanship that will never go out of style.
Daylight Donuts, open early with delicious donuts and great coffee.
All sponsors of this broadcast.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC. For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio. Brought to you by these Sports Club members.
Farmer State Bank is proud to be a part of our community for over 125 years with offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Jensen Chiropractic. Care for the whole family.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Phil's Auto and Truck Repair. Service is the difference.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Oak Crest Funeral Services. Celebrating a life lived.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. Collision Specialist. A total commitment to excellence.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service. Call 295-SOFT.
Algona Pizza Ranch. There's so much to love.
All bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Looking for future leaders we can trust and believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Iowa. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It begins by making their grades and being on time for practice. It includes learning to listen, following directions, accepting responsibility, being a good role model. And it's about respect for officials, opponents, the rules, and each other. The result? It transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. High school sports. There's so much more than just a game. This message presented by the Iowa High School Athletic Association and the Iowa High School Athletic Directors Association.
Gearing up for game number 2 of our basketball doubleheader, pitting the Algona Bulldogs against the Webster City Lynx. The 8-3 Bulldogs have been on fire coming out of winter break as they have won 5 games in a row, but they'll match up against a tough customer tonight. It's the 9-1 Webster City Lynx. They're 5-1 in North Central Conference play, just coming off their first loss of the season, a 6-point defeat at the hands of Clear Lake. So they will be fired up. They'll be ready to avenge that loss here tonight against the Algona Bulldogs. Seeing this matchup here for the first time of 2 this season. I'm Tyler Lance, my partners Greg Stewart. And Greg, this is one that maybe you didn't expect to be as good on paper heading into the season as we did, or as we do heading into tonight. But boy, Webster City, they have really risen up. They are having the kind of season that you really, really look for going into any year. And they are in a great spot right now, controlling their destiny in the North Central Conference. And they're facing a Bulldog team that, had some ups and downs before winter break. Obviously, they played a tough schedule, but they had that 3-3 record. But now the Bulldogs, they're really on a roll. As we said, they've won 5 in a row. And like we talked of Coach Cecil at halftime of the girls' game, they're starting to find that consistency a little bit here in the second half of the year.
Yeah, that's going to be critical for the Bulldogs to find that consistency, because they've played real well in spots and then have had some breakdowns or some let-ups. And you look at the season at the start, I think everybody was looking at Clear Lake and Humboldt as being the 2 top teams in the conference. Maybe Algona, maybe Webster City could challenge, but it's really turned into Clear Lake and Webster City as of, I think, the last official high school rankings. They were ranked 5th and 6th in Class 3A. And, of course, the number 6 team, Clear Lake, got the win at Webster City. So we talked about this before. The North Central Conference this year on the boys' side is really pretty strong, especially in the upper half. And I think you have to include Iowa Falls Alden in that as well. A very solid team that will give some people trouble if you don't take care of things when you play them. But otherwise, those 4 teams are 4 pretty darn good teams. The Bulldogs have played Clear Lake and Humboldt both on the road. Came up short in both, but played a really good game against Humboldt, rather. Had some real struggles against Clear Lake. But now this is the first time playing one of the top teams back in your home court. So for the Bulldogs, a golden opportunity. If they can get this one on their home court, they've set themselves up to be in that battle going down the stretch for the championship of this league, and certainly going to have a lot to say about it either way. But for Webster City, yeah, they've had a great start to the season and playing really well. As Coach Cecil said, they'll play good fundamental ball. They won't make a lot of mistakes, and they've got them going right now. They had one tough one there to Clear Lake, but you can imagine that the Lynx don't want to stumble again, so they're really going to be out to get this tonight. This is a big game here mid-season.
No doubt about it. And boy, that Clear Lake game for Algona right before winter break really kind of laid a blueprint for some things the Bulldogs need to work on over winter break heading into the second half of the year. But you felt that winter break period came at the right time, and just the way the Bulldogs have come out after winter break, that seems to be the case. And like you said, Webster City, they had a loss against Clear Lake of their own, and that was a game that really could have swung in either direction, but Clear Lake got it at the end, and now they'll try to avenge that here tonight. They do not want to stack back-to-back losses together. And boy, we talked in the girls' game about how defense is a consistent thing, and you can play defense any given night, even if the shooting is off. Webster City has locked teams down this season. They're giving up just 44.5 points per game. They are the #1 defense right now in the North Central Conference. So, as you know, Bulldogs have an offense with explosive capabilities, but they're going to have their hands full tonight against a very good defensive team and a solid fundamental team in Webster City.
Yeah, Humboldt is really the polar opposite. Humboldt, not that they don't play good defense, they do, but they're very content to run you out of the gym if they can. They'll score 80 and 90 points. Bulldogs had that kind of game with them, and our Bulldogs like to run as well. So this one might be a little bit of a battle of styles here, as Webster City, I think, would be very content to have this game in the 50s. Bulldogs probably a little bit more comfortable with a little bit higher offense, but in this streak for the Bulldogs, we saw a real dogfight, forgive the pun there, at Garner. And that game just barely out of the 40s, and the Bulldogs pulled that one out. Really a tough matchup. So the Bulldogs have shown resiliency and ability to play most any style. So be anxious to see what happens here tonight.
The Bulldogs sure have shown the ability to win some lower scoring games here in the second part of the year, and we'll see just how tonight's style plays out. It's Webster City 9-1, ranked at number 5 in the Class 3A rankings in the latest poll game. They might drop a spot or two, but you can't ding them too much for losing to number 6 Clear Lake. But in any case, two very good teams are set to hit the basketball floor tonight. We'll take one final timeout, and we will have tip-off of game number 2 of our basketball doubleheader, Algona and Webster City, coming up on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio. Brought to you by these sports club members.
Farmer State Bank is proud to be a part of our community for over 125 years with offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Jensen Chiropractic. Care for the whole family.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Phil's Auto and Truck Repair. Service is the difference.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Oak Crest Funeral Services. Celebrating a life lived.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. Collision Specialist. A total commitment to excellence.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service. Call 295-SOFT.
Algona Pizza Ranch. There's so much to love.
All bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
At Security State Bank, we realize each customer has a unique set of needs and goals. That's why we place a greater value on providing outstanding customer service. All products and services are designed for customers within our local community. We value each customer that walks through our door and wants to give them the personalized attention they deserve. Find out why Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne is your partner in community banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
With over a decade of experience, Jake Ingalls Electric is here to handle any electrical job you could possibly have. From anything agricultural related to complex commercial wiring to something simple like installing a new outlet in your home, Jake Ingalls Electric does it all. Have your wiring done right and call Jake at 515-320-4286. Jake Ingalls Electric, shockingly good service.
More sports club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Algona Livestock Sales. Sales every Monday.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce. 2 sauces for all seasons.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Holmes Animal Clinic. Animals large and small. They love them all.
Signworks. For all your signage needs as well as printed shirts, caps, and jackets. Stop in or call 295-9544.
Style Salon. Your salon in Algona. Create yourself.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance. Visit their studio or danceconnectionbymichelle.com.
TAFE Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong. Keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
All proud sponsors of this broadcast.
Moments away from tip-off between the Algona Bulldogs and the Webster City Lynx. Looking at the starting lineups for tonight. For the Lynx, under the direction of head coach Brett Ratcliffe, they have the junior Braden Doring, the senior Jamie Grossamy, senior Jason Roth, senior Ty McKinney, and junior Briar Claver. Algona brings out their normal starting lineup under head coach Jared Cecil with the sophomore Ben Helmers, senior Simon Fike, sophomore Alex Mansky, senior Cade Weber, and junior Landon Welp. Greg, your biggest key tonight for the Bulldogs?
Well, I think Coach Cecil talked a lot about consistency. There's probably going to be some little runs in this ball game tonight, so you've got to be consistent, able to handle those runs, and hopefully go on a couple of your own. Defense, I think, is going to be a real key here tonight because you can expect that from the Lynx. Bulldogs need to have great effort on defense.
The 6'4" Grossamy and the 6'4" Helmers are at midcourt at the Bulldog logo. Webster City in the road purples with the yellow lettering and numbering as the ball rolls sideways and Webster City takes it. Buckle your seatbelts, everybody. We are underway. Bulldogs in the home whites and red lettering and numbering. Down into the near corner, Webster City has the ball to move it quickly around the perimeter. Doring up top, jump stopping and handing it off to McKinney, who curls around, shoots the foul line jumper and rattles it in, and Webster City draws first blood. Bulldogs quickly get it to Weber in the far corner of the court. Algona third ranked in offense in the North Central Conference at 68.5 points per game. Fike, top of the key, shoots a contested early three, but missed it left. Ball's rebounded by Welp. Offensive board for Algona as Welp swooped in and took it. Weber far corner, hands it off to Helmers around the perimeter. Helmers drifts into the far corner, looking for the baseline, sees a double team and spins away as he finds Weber. Weber looking for some space as he comes out top to Fike with 7:10 on the clock. Fike to left to Mansky on the wing, now down into the near corner to Helmers. Helmers spins, hangs, shoots the jumper, and it rolls out, and it's rebounded by Webster City and Claver.
Tough shot there by Helmers, but we've seen him make those before.
Webster City, number 4 in the North Central Conference, offensively at just under 62 points per game, as they'll bang it off the window and score it with Briar Claver. And Claver has the first couple buckets of the night, or make that his first bucket of the night, I should say, and it's 4-0 Webster City. Claver of 2, McKinney with 2 right now for Webster City. Lynx swept Algona last season as Weber turns, shoots a jumper from just outside of the lane, and he drains it. Make it 4-2. Webster City on top of Algona as Weber, who's averaging about 13 points a game, has Algona's first bucket of the night. Far side of the court, Grossamy, guarded by Weber. Up to the top to McKinney. He turns to face Helmers, now flips it over to the left to Doring. Doring to the top of the key to Claver. Claver drives up to the lane, hangs, hits it off the window and missed it as Fike reaches above everyone for the rebound. Now here comes Mansky into the front court. Mansky underhands it to Fike, a deep three-point try, and it's true. Simon Fike gives Algona their first lead, 5-4.
Well, you like to see Fike come back and take that shot when he missed his first one. Again, shooter, having the confidence, go right back up with it if the open look is there.
Fike is a 39% three-point shooter, one of the best in the North Central. Webster City around the perimeter. They have Doring right of center, now down into the near corner to Naroff. Naroff bullets the pass to the edge of the lane, bobbled by Grossamy. He comes out top to Doring, and he'll hand it back off to Naroff, who backs up to the Bulldog logo and directs traffic. Welp comes out to defend with 5:28 on the clock. Naroff on the blow-by. Oh, and there's some great defense by the Bulldogs on the help. And now 5:22 on the clock, the Bulldogs have it. Mansky striding inside, offensive foul. He ran over, I believe that was Claver that time drawing the charge.
Well, it's one thing you know about Alex Mansky. If he gets the handoff, he's going to hit that line hard, and you could see him having a head of steam there that he was likely going all the way to the basket. If you're in the way, you're going to pay a penalty.
Bulldogs throw a little pressure at Webster City in the backcourt. They break it, but the bounce pass down to Claver is off his hands and out of bounds as Naroff couldn't find him. It skidded in a little bit low, kind of handcuffed him on the short hop. And now Bulldogs get it back up 5-4. 3 minutes into this one, Welp on the far side of the court, he's guarded by Doring on the perimeter. Up to the top to Fike, thought about pulling, he'll drive instead, drawing oohs and ahs from the crowd. Now Weber rolls to the bucket, missed it, and it's tipped to Naroff.
Boy, that was tough, nice drive.
McKinney deals towards Grossamy at the edge of the lane, backs out in front of the Bulldog student section. Up to the top to Doring. Doring turns around, holds the ball, and gives it to McKinney. McKinney into the near corner to Naroff. Now to the edge of the perimeter to Claver. Doring far side of the court. Doring right of the lane. Doring bouncing it inside to Claver. Claver for the soft touch puts it in off the window.
Nice job of getting it to Claver on this left side of the basket again.
6-5 Webster City. They grab the lead back. A couple early lead changes here. Mansky up at the top of the keys. He flips to the right wing to Fike. He'll catch and he'll fire, but it rolls off the cup, no good. Offensive board, Helmers. Helmers hangs and he scores.
Helmers for 2.
Well, that is already 3 early lead changes in this one as the Bulldogs are up 7-6. And the student section backing the defense. The senior Naroff flipping it over to the right to Claver. Now it's Grossamy. Grossamy at 18.5 points per game, the number 3 scorer in the North Central Conference. On the wing goes to Claver. Claver tried to find Grossamy and knock away by Weber. Grossamy got it back, put it up left hand, and he put it down.
Boy, that was a big play. Tough play because the Bulldogs just about had the steal as Weber stepped around the end of the passing lane there, got the knock away, or just about got the steal, rather.
That was steely focus that time by Grossme to put that one up and in despite all the traffic around him, despite that brief knockaway, and now he'll have a chance to finish off a three-point play. As Algona will bring Tristan Larson into the game for the first time this evening, Fike heading onto the bench. Webster City will give Briar Claver a rest. As Grossme tries to finish the three-point play, Trevin Lyons into the game as Grossme rattles it in, and it's a 9-7 Webster City advantage. 3:42 on the clock without Webster City trying to press Algona a little bit. Welp far side of the court, sees a double team. Bulldogs have to hurry, and they flip it up ahead to Helmers. It's knocked away, but it went right to Mansky. Fortuitous bounce for Algona. Down to Weber, hits the spin move, missed it off the cup. Weber and Larson battling for their own rebound. Weber misses. He got his own miss briefly, but it's taken out of his hands by Naroff. Naroff lobs it up the court, wide open McKinney, and he lays it in. Great find by Naroff, and it's 11-7 Webster City. Helmers sprints the other way. Oh, lost the defender, and he lays it up and in.
What a move by the left-handed sophomore there. Helmers on the baseline, nice job.
Helmers sort of threw his shoulders towards the corner, got the defender to turn back to the outside, and then he had the open look to the bucket. As now a foul's picked up here. Algona getting called. Weber his first. 11-9 Webster City. The Lynx will inbound here with McKinney from the baseline. McKinney last season had a huge game against Algona in this gym, scoring 31 points. That was an 85-67 Webster City win, as he'll try a corner pocket three, but that one rattles out of the drain as Weber has the rebound. It was 85-67 and a 64-59, both in favor of Webster City last season. Helmers has the handoff, bursts into the lane, stops, hangs for a jumper, and he rolls it in. We are locked up at 11 as Ben Helmers has an early 6. Helmers is averaging just under 17 points per game, number 6 in the North Central Conference. McKinney on the right wing. Helmers pokes it away, and Helmers has the steal. Here he comes with the floor, and Helmers will get the foul. He laid it in, but the foul was before he did, as McKinney picks that one up.
Well, I tell you what, Ben Helmers just does not play like a typical sophomore.
He has really come into his own this season, and him stealing the ball is a common sight. Number 3 in the North Central Conference in steals this season. As Mansky catches in the high post. Off the inbounds pass as he backs it up to the top of the key. 2:20 to go in the quarter as we are all locked up at 11, Algona and Webster City. On the right wing, it's Welp, flipping it left to Larson. Larson takes 2 dribbles to the right and passes to Welp in the far corner. With 2:09 on the clock, Welp spins. Welp looking for space. Bullets it onto the wing to Mansky. Mansky behind the back dribble. Flips it underhand to the top of the key to Helmers. Now 10 on the shot clock. Helmers spins away from traffic. Left of the lane. His pass is deflected, though, and it's intercepted by Claver. Claver flips it up ahead to Naroff. Naroff has Grossme cutting into the lane, and he'll finger roll it in to give Webster City a 13-11 lead.
Webster City really good in transition.
That has been a key theme so far as Grossme has 5 points now. Mansky just to the left of center as he flips it to Weber. Weber guarded by Grossme on the perimeter. Weber into the lane. Weber looking for a cutting Mansky. It's knocked away by Claver. Rolls to Larson, and a foul's picked up. That'll be number 2 against Webster City as it comes with 1:28 on the clock. Naroff getting called for his first.
Personal foul called on Jason Naroff, his first.
So Larson will inbound from the baseline for Algona. Larson looking, Weber pops open in the near corner, lets the three fly, line drive to short, and the rebound pops into Naroff's hands. Webster City 13, Algona 11. Bulldogs trying to figure out the number 1 defense in the North Central Conference as Claver looks for space, deals to Grossme in the corner, launches a free, and he swishes it.
Yeah, nice shot. Another left-handed shooter there.
Grossme has half of Webster City's points. He has 8 of their 16.
Oh, I stepped in line.
Well, Helmers, he was trying to put a few moves on there, but you're right, he stepped on the baseline, and that'll be a Bulldog turnover. As Devin Larson comes into the ball game, Caden Weber to the bench for Algona, so you have the 2 Larsons right now, Helmers, Mansky, and Welp for the Bulldogs. Doring inbounds it to Grossme, and we're under 1 minute to go in quarter number 1. Webster City grabbing a 5-point lead as Doring flips it into the corner to Naroff, guarded by Tristan Larson. Pump fakes, and we have a whistle and offensive foul away from the play.
Yeah, got an illegal screen up top.
That is going to go against Doring, and that is foul number 3 against Webster City as Doring picks up his first.
13 fouls.
Both teams with 3 early fouls in quarter number 1. 50 seconds on the game clock right now as Welp will jog it into the front court for the Bulldogs. Algona on a 5-game winning streak after winter break. They have not allowed over 52 points in any of the 5 games after they gave up 52 plus in 5 of 6 before winter break, so defense has been an improvement. Mansky in the corner. Mansky slicing into the lane. Rises and missed with the right hand as that rolled off the cup. And now Doring brings it into the front court. Drifting towards the near side, Grossame in the corner. Tightly blanketed by Devin Larson. Now in the post, Claver. Top of the key, Doring. Catch and fire three-pointer off the back of the cup, and that'll hit the extension above the backboard and be a turnover. Or be out of bounds for the Lynx. Lynx are a pretty solid three-point shooting team. Over 35.5% for number 3 in the North Central as Fike comes in, Helmers to the bench. Quick sub here of 16 seconds left for the Bulldogs. Shot clock is off. Welp will take his time coming into the front court as the Bulldogs will try to get a late shot off here at the end of the quarter. Weber make that Welp at the edge of the Bulldog logo. He heads left, passing it right to Mansky, top of the key. 5 seconds to go. Mansky powering inside, puts it off the window and scores. And that'll bring an end to quarter number 1. Boy, Alex Mansky taking things into his own hands and using a strong move to make the score 16-13. We will head to the second quarter as Webster City has a 3-point lead here on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio. Brought to you by these sports club members.
Farmer State Bank is proud to be a part of our community for over 125 years with offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Jensen Chiropractic. Care for the whole family.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Phil's Auto and Truck Repair. Service is the difference.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Oak Crest Funeral Services. Celebrating a life lived.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. Collision Specialist. A total commitment to excellence.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service. Call 295-SOFT.
Algona Pizza Ranch. There's so much to love.
All bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Heading into the second quarter here on Hometown Radio KLGA. It's Webster City 16 and Algona 13 as the Bulldogs start off quarter number 2 with the basketball. We'll get it into the backcourt to Tristan Larson, and we are off and rolling in the second quarter. Larson guarded by Lyons up top. As he flips it left to Helmers, almost threw it away as Helmers tiptoes the sideline, but he stayed in bounds. Helmers looking to spin towards the baseline, looking for space, putting it off the window and scoring. Helmers is contorting his body every which way, and he's up to 8 points.
And that was against Ty McKinney, veteran player.
And now a drive inside on a block, but a foul is called. Helmers almost had the rejection that time of McKinney on the other end, but he'll shoot 2 instead.
A little exchange, I think, in comments there between McKinney and Helmers. Nothing bad. Smiles on both faces there.
Yeah, 2 great competitors as McKinney heads to the line. McKinney, one of the leading scorers on the team, averaging 13.5 points per game. Number 3 on Webster City behind Claver and Grossame. As his foul shot sits on the rim and it drops in. That'll make it 17-15 Webster City. Well, we had 4 lead changes in quarter number 1. Already a lot going on in this game. As McKinney's second foul shot bounces off to the right, it's a fight for the rebound, and it's knocked out of bounds off the hands of Claver as he and Mansky were fighting for it. So Bulldogs will get it back with 7:34 on the clock. Webster City's been strong defensively, as you mentioned. They've held their opponent to 50 or less points in 8 of their 10 games. The only 2 to get above 50 against Webster City were Clear Lake and Humboldt, and both of those are certainly understandable as there's a steal but on a turnover. McKinney jumped the pass, and then he dribbled it off his knee out of bounds. So Bulldogs will catch a break on that one as Devin Larson heads onto the bench and Caden Weber returns for Algona. Lyons will guard the inbounds pass of Larson as he bounces it into Mansky, hands it off to Larson in the corner beneath us. Larson driving baseline, gets to the cup and lays it in to tie the game at 17.
Strong move to the basket. Nice job of exploding up there toward the board.
Yeah, no hesitation by Larson as now Weber jumps the pass as they were trying to find Doring in the post. Weber runs, Weber dishes to Helmers on the block. Helmers turns, comes out top to Mansky, lets the three-pointer rip, bounces off the rim. Weber sails in for the offensive board, but then McKinney picked his pocket. 17-17 tie, Doring with the basketball, weaving around Bulldog defenders into the front court. Grossame far side of the court, bouncing it to the edge of the lane to Claver, backing his way in against Weber. Claver bangs it off the window at a wide angle and missed it. Rebound off of Mansky's hands, and then touched by Webster City as it heads out of bounds, and the Bulldogs get it back.
Well, really good battle going on both ends of the court here, and talked about defense playing a big part, and I'd say it really has so far in this ball game. Both teams really getting after it.
I'll tell you, on an individual level, watching Mansky and Claver scrap for the rebounds has been interesting to watch as McKinney jumps the pass and he runs in transition, and then Larson will commit the foul on the floor.
Well, Ty McKinney, we talked about a couple possessions ago, got great quickness, and you saw it there, really jumped that passing lane, got the interception. So you really got to anticipate. These guys have a lot of experience and a lot of quickness.
Jack Larson comes into the game for Webster City, replacing Braden Doring. The 6'3" junior Larson on the floor right now is up top. It's McKinney with the basketball onto the right wing to the junior Claver, guarded by Mansky. Claver into the high post, hands it off to Naroff. Naroff sidesteps into a long jumper, and he missed it. Line driving it off the front of the rim as Helmers has the rebound. Here's Helmers for Algona. Helmers got it knocked away by Naroff. Ball loose on the floor. Larson and Naroff get tied up, and that'll be a jump ball. Possession arrows towards Webster City as they get it with 6:07 on the clock. And Welp will come in to replace Larson for Algona. Webster City coming off a 12-10 season last year. They were third place in a very loaded North Central Conference. As it'll be Naroff dribbling it into the front court, avoiding Welp as he crosses the Bulldog logo, dribbling between the legs, onto the right wing to Claver. Back to the left, and that pass is jumped. Here comes Helmers up the court. Helmers lost the defender, puts it off the window and scores it.
Great anticipation on that passing lane there. And jumping the lane and getting that steal.
And a nice job hanging onto the ball. Got swatted at as he was heading the other way, but he collected himself. The defender went by, and he had the lay-in for 2 points. Grossame dribbles right around the perimeter, handing it off to Naroff. Into the corner it goes to Larson. Down into the post, working his Claver against Mansky, puts it over the top and scores. That'll tie it up at 19. Quickly the other way, a pass to Fike. He'll let the three-pointer rip, he missed it. Weber sails in and he finishes it off the glass.
Nice timing by Caden Weber.
A timeout called by Coach Brett Radcliffe and the Webster City Lynx. Weber avoided anyone trying to box him out, and he sailed in to make it 21-19. Algona as a 30-second timeout is called. Well, rebounding starting to become an early storyline in this ball game. Helmers has had a couple offensive boards. As you mentioned there, Weber sailed in for a rebound against Webster City, and the Bulldogs grabbed the 21-19 lead.
Yeah, Caden had an offensive board earlier and brought it down and ended up losing the ball. Kind of a tussle down there, and that time didn't bother to come down with it. Just timed his jump, caught the ball and put it right back up off the glass. Mid-air. Nice job by Caden Weber.
Yeah, he did not bother landing. Bulldogs, as we've always mentioned, they have a lot of great athletes on the floor. Weber just has a ton of spring in his legs as he can just sail in there for those boards. As Webster City has it, Naroff in the lane, gets cut off by Mansky. He finds the cutting Larson, though, and Larson rolls it in to tie it at 21.
A little bit of an issue. Webster City's been able to get down the court in a hurry.
Fike left open in the near corner, missed off the front of the cup, and it's rebounded by Larson, ripping it away. It was a great find on the last possession by Naroff, who's averaging over 3 assists per game. McKinney driving, McKinney fading back, banging it off the glass and scoring it. He had the perfect spin on that.
And got Helmers up in the air and got another steal.
Here's McKinney on the steal. He runs, he deals to Grossame, and he lays it up and in. 25-21 Webster City as Algona will take a quick timeout. That was one where McKinney could have easily laid it in, but he made the pass to Grossame, and Grossame's now up to 10 points. But Coach Cecil feels a time of momentum right now, and he's going to try to quell that here with a 30-second timeout.
Well, here's one of those mini runs. Bulldogs did have a 2-point lead. They're now down 4 in just a blink of an eye. And again, a lot of it is McKinney, but they've got other players out there as well, really pressuring the passing lanes. I mean, you've got to be really sensitive to where that defense is because they're so quick to get the knockaways, and in that case, the run out with an assist.
Well, so far, 6 lead changes in this game, and the latest one has Webster City on top, 25-21 over Algona. Bulldogs so far tonight have not really been hitting on three-pointers. They've gotten Fike a few good looks, but he has not heated up yet. Bulldogs, they take the second most threes per game in the North Central Conference at just under 24. Humboldt's taking over 32.5 threes per game, so they are by far number one in three-point attempts.
There's a bump.
And there's a bump and a foul against Webster City. That was Larson banging into Welp, and Webster City picking up their fourth foul. So the Lynx will get set to bring Doring off the bench, and that is going to be a sub here. Right now they have 6 players on the floor. Someone's got to check out. There we go. Grosame heading onto the bench here of his 10 points. And Welp will inbound from the baseline for Algona. He'll lob it in as Mansky chases it down before half court. Fike over to Weber. Threading the pass down inside to Mansky, backing his way in. Not a lot of space, trying to bang it against Larson, and a jump ball is forced. Boy, Larson did a great job of holding his ground that time against Mansky.
I really did. Mansky's a strong kid, and he managed to hold his ground and get on top of the ball.
Possession arrows towards Algona as Welp flips it into the lane to Halmers. Halmers rises and he rolls it in. A nice left-handed shot will make it 25-23 Webster City. Halmers is up to 12 points for Algona. Under 4 minutes to go until halftime. Naroff dribbles away from the trap. Doring into the corner now, down low to Larson. Quick movement this possession for Webster City. Naroff in the lane. Deals outside to Larson. Now onto the wing Doring. Doring penetrating. Ball got poked away, and it's going to be Cade Weber for the push, picking up Algona's 6th foul. Weber is a very handsy defender, always trying to poke the ball away, but that can occasionally get him in foul trouble. As Weber will take a seat on the bench, Larson will come in. Tristan Larson for Algona. Webster City gets the inbounds play into Claver. They get it around the perimeter, into the far corner to McKinney. McKinney penetrating, jump stopping, and missing everything on the jumper. It goes out of bounds, and Bulldogs get it back.
Now, good hesitation by McKinney, but put it up short. Bulldogs with a chance to tie again. No, just
almost a jump pass by Larson. He nearly had the steal for Webster City. 25-23, Webster City in the lead. Mansky looking for space on the baseline, bangs it off the bottom of the backboard. Now here comes Webster City on the run. It's Claver, about to get to Doring. It's behind him, but he tracked it down before it went out of bounds. Doring to the top of the key, Grosame onto the wing, McKinney. Into the near corner to Larson with 3:08 on the clock. Back onto the right wing, Claver. Top of the key, McKinney, guarded by Welp. McKinney looking to set something up here as he flips it into the near corner for a catch and fire Claver three-pointer, and he airballed it. But it's rebounded by Larson, and another possession for Webster City. 8 on the shot clock. It did not reset because the ball did not hit the rim. 4 on the shot clock. Step back free McKinney, left it short. It's knocked away. 4th opportunity as Naroff chased down the long offensive rebound. McKinney, extra pass into the corner to Doring, and Webster City having a long, grinding possession right now. Up near the logo, it's McKinney. Drifting towards the left as this time Mansky comes out to defend. They'll screen Mansky away. McKinney stops, deals into the corner to Naroff. Now 2:24 on this clock. Claver into the lane against Mansky. Comes outside to Larson. And now it's Doring. Doring jump stopping, hanging. His shot might have got tipped by Halmers. Now 6 on the shot clock. Ball's loose on the floor, and a foul. Larson got undercut that time by Naroff, and he got football tackled. That'll be foul number 5 against Webster City. Boy, Bulldogs, they survived a long possession. That had to have been at least a minute and a half.
Yes, it did. I mean, a couple of rebounds that got away there from the Bulldogs, but good defensive stand there for about a minute-long possession, as you said. Really kept the energy up and made it tough on the Lynx. They were unable to score. Bulldogs again with a chance to tie this game.
Lions will come back into the game for Webster City as Larson takes a seat on the bench. 2:09 to go in this first half as Webster City leads Algona 25-23. Welp on the right wing, pump fakes once, and comes to Halmers in the far corner. Down to 2 minutes to go. Halmers working with 12 points right now. Halmers stopping at the foul line, looking for space, using the pivot foot, rising for a jumper and burying it to tie the game at 25.
Boy, he is really difficult to defend when he's able to get in around the lane like that.
I mean, he's just so shifty, the way he can use that pivot foot. It seems like he can always get a jumper off no matter where he's at on the court. Claver underneath the bucket, into the lane, Doring, a knock away, but Webster City got it back. They avoid the turnover. Grosame behind the back dribble, sets up a free ball, missed off the back of the cup, but Claver sails in for an offensive board. Doring, right angle 3, swish.
Boy, it's been extra opportunities last couple possessions here for the Lynx. Couple offensive boards, 3 offensive boards.
They are really hurting Algona on the glass right now. Webster City's a good rebounding team. They're number 2 in the North Central with 32 rebounds per game. Mansky to the baseline, near side of 105 on the clock. Now out to Fike. Both teams have been relatively cold on three-point shooting so far. Webster City has 4 starters shooting over 36% on threes, and the other one is shooting just over 30%. So they have guys who can let it fly as Fike comes out to Larson. Larson catch and fire 3, and he buries it. Right on cue to tie the game at 28. Now 42 seconds to go in the quarter. About a 9.5 second difference between game clock and shot clock. Doring to the outside, Grossame. Now to the right wing, McKinney. He'll catch, he'll fire, he'll leave the 3 short as Helmer secures the rebound. Shot clock off, Helmer's looking to drive. Helmer's puts it up at a tough angle and he missed it. Boy, he might have been better off working that one for a little more passing for Algona on that possession. Grossame in the lane, he'll rise for a jumper, missed it off the back of the cup with 15 seconds to go in the Bulldogs rebound. They get it up to Helmers. Helmers bullying his way inside. He put it down and he got fouled. Bulldogs grab the lead back and Helmers with a chance for a 3-point play.
Well, that previous possession was going to be miraculous. Going away from the basket, tried to put it back with his left hand and it didn't go down. This time, nice position by the Lynx defender, but he wasn't quite set, and a big 3-point opportunity here for Helmers.
Webster City took a 25-21 lead, but since that time, Algona on a 9-3 scoring run as Helmers misses the second free throw, and with 6 seconds left, here comes McKinney. McKinney driving, he got stripped, but that is a foul against Algona, and that will set up a 1-and-1 for McKinney as Mansky is the guilty party.
Personal foul called on Alex Mansky, his second.
So McKinney will make another trip to the foul line. So far tonight, Ty McKinney's been able to score 7 points. It's Grossame leading Webster City of 10. Clavers chipped in 6. And there's 3.7 seconds left, so if you're the Bulldogs and you rebound this, you've got to get down quickly. But McKinney makes the first of the 1-and-1. That'll make it 30-29. Algona still up by 1. McKinney setting up here, 3.7 on the clock, and he swishes it. We are all locked up at 30 as the Bulldogs have another chance. They get into Welp with 3 seconds, with 2 seconds, with 1 second. He gets inside, off the window, but he missed it right at the buzzer. Someone might have gotten a finger on that one on the way up for Webster City, and Welp almost got that 2 right before the break, but Algona will settle for a 30-30 tie heading into halftime. An eventful first half, still much to be decided over the final 16 minutes of basketball between Algona and Webster City here on Hometown Radio, KLGA Algona.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio. Brought to you by these sports club members.
Farmers State Bank is proud to be a part of our community for over 125 years with offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Jensen Chiropractic. Care for the whole family.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Phil's Auto and Truck Repair. Service is the difference.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Oak Crest Funeral Services, celebrating a life lived.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Algona Frame and Auto Body, collision specialist, a total commitment to excellence.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service, call 295-SOFT.
Algona Pizza Ranch, there's so much to love.
All bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio. When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
More sports club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Algona Livestock Sales. Sales every Monday.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce. 2 sauces for all seasons.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Holmes Animal Clinic. Animals large and small, they love them all.
Signworks for all your signage needs as well as printed shirts, caps, and jackets. Stop in or call 295-9544.
Style Salon, your salon in Algona. Create yourself.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance. Visit their studio or danceconnectionbymichelle.com.
TAFE Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong. Keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
All proud sponsors of this broadcast.
More Sport Club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Reeb's Wicked Good Bar and Grill. For wicked good food, drinks, and service, you gotta go to Reeb's.
CB Grain Solutions, satisfaction guaranteed.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
Dump it. They do the dirty work so you don't have to.
Albert Electric. Flip the switch to Albert Electric.
Grassmasters, growing satisfied customers.
Greg Penny and Company CPA, certified public accountants, where everyone counts.
Yemlin Builders and Apartments, quality apartments for rent, beauty and craftsmanship that will never go out of style.
Daylight Donuts, open early with delicious donuts and great coffee.
All sponsors of this broadcast.
Halftime between Algona and Webster City, as right now we are all locked up at 30 apiece. I'm Tyler Lance alongside Greg Stewart, and Greg, half number one lived up to the hype. We saw 7 lead changes. We saw Ben Halmers lead the way of 16 points for Algona. We saw a couple mini runs there, and really nothing decided yet. This has been a very strong North Central Conference game between two very good basketball teams.
It really has been, I'd say, just about exactly what we expected. Good defense, played both ways. Had a number of steals. We had little mini runs, but never more than like 6 points, I think, in a row. And both teams have reacted well. When they got down, they've turned up the defensive pressure. I'd say a couple things the Bulldogs maybe want to clean up a bit. Turnovers started to cause a little bit of a problem there in the second quarter. They turned it over 5 times, usually, and that pass entering the offense off to the wing. Webster City has got good quickness on the wings there and able to get some pokeways. 5 turnovers. I've got 8 on the Bulldogs here at halftime. So you want to make sure you don't give up opportunities for possessions there. And a little bit on the rebounding end. Webster City with a little bit of a size advantage, but there was one possession in particular Webster City had that was really 3 possessions in one, because they missed a shot, got the offensive rebound, missed a shot, got the offensive rebound, and finally hit a 3 on that one. So you got to cut out those extra opportunities and maintain your own opportunities. Statistically, really, the only difference, of course, we got a 30-30 score here, so you don't expect to see much separation, and there really isn't. The only real difference in the stats here is at the line, where Webster City made 4 out of 5 free throws. Algona missed their 1 opportunity. So the Webster City Lynx have been able to collect fouls and driving to the basket, and that's put them at the line. Those 5 times they managed to put them down. But both teams shooting very similarly. The Bulldogs 13 out of 27, 48%. The Lynx 12 out of 23, 52% from the field. Both teams have made 2 3-point shots. Really not a big factor in the game at this point. But just like I said, and like you mentioned, really a classic battle between 2 very strong North Central Conference teams.
No doubt about it. 30-30 tie right now at halftime. Again, Ben Halmers leading the way of 16 points for Algona. On the Webster City side of things, it's Jamie Grossame leading the way of 10 with 9 points. Ty McKinney right now, and we are all locked up at 30 apiece. I'll tell you what, it's entertaining to watch these guys shoot on both sides, because it really seems like every single shot is a difficult, contested shot on both ends. Like you said, the defenses are playing well. They're really not allowing a whole lot of open shots.
No.
When teams have tried to take the ball inside, boy, those have been some tough physical battles on the interior. And yeah, like you said, we could not have asked for a whole lot more from tonight's game with what it's delivered so far, and certainly the second half is setting up to be a really close finish at the end.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and it's going to be who can withstand the little rallies, and possibly who has the last little rally in that fourth quarter, because as we mentioned, this first half couldn't be any more even than it has been. The Bulldogs can clean a couple things up, and I think things they can correct, cut down on the turnovers and maybe hitting the glass, make sure they get a body on somebody all the time. They're in good shape here, and I still like the three-point shooting for Algona. It's been a little bit of a struggle, 2 out of 8 here for the first half, but I think that can come around, and a couple of big threes could make a huge difference in this game. Webster City has not been able to get anything easy tonight, with the exception of a couple transition buckets off steals, but otherwise they're really having to work, and that's going to have to be the formula to winning this thing, is staying tough on defense and making your offensive opportunities count.
So that's what we're looking for in the second half, a 30-30 tie between Algona and Webster City, as we'll have the second half basketball action coming your way in just over 2 minutes here on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation, or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at moneypass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
With over a decade of experience, Jake Ingalls Electric is here to handle any electrical job you could possibly have. From anything agricultural related to complex commercial wiring to something simple like installing a new outlet in your home, Jake Ingalls Electric does it all. Have your wiring done right and call Jake at 515-320-4286. Jake Ingalls Electric, shockingly good service.
For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
Getting set for the second half of basketball action here on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube stream. Big thank you to our video streaming sponsors, including Algona State Farm Insurance agent Billy Offerman, Algona Municipal Utilities, High Endeavors, and Chemna Auto Center. Also, big thank you to Greg Penning and Company, certified public accountants. The scoreboard sponsor here is right now. The scoreboard shows a tie game, 30 apiece as we head into the second half. Webster City 9-1 on the season. They're 5-1 in the North Central, and the Lynx, they have not won the North Central Conference since the 2016-2017 season when they won their second of back-to-back titles. And a win here tonight on the road would go a long way towards doing that. But the Bulldogs, they're trying to stay in that North Central Conference race as well as we begin the second half. Greg, your biggest key to half number 2.
Well, it's not to oversimplify, but it's consistency. Again, Coach Cecil's talking about that. Bulldogs are going to have to come out with consistently tough defense and take care of the ball. I think the turnovers and avoiding giving up the ball here are going to be big.
Yeah, Webster City, they jumped a lot of passes in the first half, so the Bulldogs will have to be aware of that. As Webster City starts out with the basketball, they will head from right to left on the radio dial, and we are rolling in half number 2. McKinney heads to the right. McKinney bursting inside. Oh, hits a wicked spin move, but he hit it off the bottom of the backboard. Great move, but could not finish, and the Bulldogs have the basketball. Welp on the right wing, surveys the defense, takes one step inside. He'll rise for a 3, but he bangs it off the glass long, and it's rebounded by Naroff. Naroff across half court, finds McKinney. McKinney penetrating across the lane, finds Claver. Fike trying to stay vertical. Claver spins, and he hits it.
Nice turnaround jumper there. Nice soft touch.
32-30 Webster City. Mansky in the far corner comes around the perimeter to Helmers with 7:17 on the clock. Now he finds a cutting Weber. Weber gets the glass and he missed it right at the cup. Point blank range, but he could not put it down. And Webster City has the basketball back. Into the corner, McKinney passed up the 3 as he comes to the right wing to Dorning. The ball's thrown a little behind Grossmay, but it's picked up by Naroff. Naroff sidestepping as Fike has him on defense. Now back up top to Claver. Comes left to McKinney. McKinney to the edge of the lane to Grossmay. Trying to work his way in against Welp. Fades for a jumper, and he rattled it in at a wide angle, and Webster City goes up by 4.
Tough shot.
First 4 points of the second half go to Webster City as Mansky starts right of the lane and backs it up and comes to the top of the key to Fike. Fike has not gotten loose yet tonight as he has just 3 points coming in the first half. Weber across the foul line. He'll rise for a jumper and he'll bury it.
Weber for 2.
34-32, a 30-second timeout called by Coach Cecil with 6:21 on the clock. And I think this is a good timeout. Bulldogs not looking great here in starting off the second half. Gave up the first 4 points to Webster City, and Coach Cecil will take this timeout to talk it over with 6:21 on the clock.
Well, when he narrowed the margin, again, right back to 2 points. So take a deep breath and see what you've got to do here on defense. Just amazed with Weber again. I think that's almost become his favorite, most regular shot for him. It's a little dribble drive, pop, and just hit that little floater mid-range jump shot.
Caden Weber now has 6 points, and yeah, it's countless times this season we've seen Weber get to that spot, hit those jumpers. Of course, he had that big game-winning three-pointer against Garner Hayfield Ventura fresh out of winter break. But the three-point shooting hasn't always been great this season for Weber. It's been off and on, but that mid-range shot seems to be his most reliable target, like you mentioned. So the baseline off the hands of Grossame and out of bounds. He didn't think he touched it, but that'll be a turnover as Algona gets the ball back.
Well, good defense by the Bulldogs again, getting a hand on the ball, disrupting things.
Welp slowly brings it into the front court as we're 2 minutes into the third quarter. Webster City 34, Algona 32. Two teams near the top of the conference. They'll fly two players at Fike as he turns and passes to Mansky in the corner. Now Weber on the wing. Weber pumps, starts to dribble in, and then he drifts towards the far corner. He'll drive baseline, and he'll get turned back out. To the top of the key, and that pass is jumped by Grossame. Grossame running the floor, bowls over Helmers, rises for the jumper, and he buries it. 36-32, Helmers was doing everything there to try to draw an offensive foul, but no dice. Now Helmers works the baseline, tiptoes as he finds Fike, catches, fires, swishes.
There's another three-pointer, big one. Bulldogs really needed that, back within one.
36-35, Webster City. A pass in the lane, rolls away. Webster City picks it up, though, and they work it around the perimeter to Grossame. Backs up as Mansky stays in his face. Far side of the court in the Roth with 5:10 on the clock. Finds a cutting Grossame in the paint. Back to the outside, Doring. Doring lets a three-pointer rip, and he answers right back.
That's a big shot by Doring.
39-35, Doring's second three-pointer. We'll see if the threes start dropping this evening as here's a foul on Fike driving in. It'll be Claver picking it up for Webster City. Well, Greg, last season, Webster City put up some absurd three-point numbers against Algona. In the two games, they were 9 of 11 and 6 of 11 on three-pointers. So, obviously, tonight's been a little cooler for both teams than that.
Yeah, that's crazy. But part of that is defensive effort, not giving the comfortable looks from out there.
That's a good point. The looks have not been comfortable for the most part, really, for either side. As Welp has it on the right wing. Oh, Larson touched the basket. He's wide open, and he lays it in off the assist from Welp.
Yeah, nice job of Welp keeping his head up and seeing Larson sneak in along the baseline there.
Now a step back three. Grossame, and he sticks it.
No.
Oh, nothing but net. Fike has it. Backing his way in. He's stumbling. He's falling down, and he traveled. Well, a couple big momentum plays there for Webster City. After the beautiful pass by Welp, they hit the big three-pointer. Bulldogs have the turnover. And Grossame has 17 points right now. Bulldogs will show a little pressure in the backcourt as Fike almost jumped the pass, and now Webster City gets out ahead of him. They get into the front court. Grossame to the top of the key. To Naroff, over to the right to McKinney. His three-pointer rolls off the front of the cup, no good, but an offensive board by Grossame. That was a problem in the first half. McKinney's pass down to the baseline, finds Claver. Claver backing his way in, pulls over Larson, and there's an offensive foul. Claver was not a fan of that, but Larson got in position and drew the charge.
Now Larson, another one of those quick players. He and McKinney exchanging notes there. Both players very quick. Larson's picked up a number of charges this year.
His second.
And the referees are really saying it was that left elbow that Claver was using. And that was why he was called for the foul there, as we're down to 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Welp has the basketball right now. He's number 2 in the North Central Conference in assists at over 5.5 per game. Now it's Helmers towards the lane. Helmers looking, does not have space for a jumper, so he comes out to Larson. Larson shoots again. His three-pointer rattles off the cup, but Mansky chases down the offensive board. Mansky gives it to Helmers right in front of the Algona bench with 3:42 on the clock. Helmers, quick release three, left it short, and the rebound is taken by Grossame. 42-37 Webster City. A bullet down to Doring. He finds Claver. Claver puts it up. He puts it down, and he got fouled. Webster City's going on a little run of their own here.
Yep, here's a critical juncture in the ball game right now. Webster City out to a 7-point lead, possibly 8 if they get the free throw. Critical that Algona has a solid possession now.
Claver makes 2/3 of his free throws, but he left that one short.
Oh.
But an offensive rebound off the free throw by Doring, pushing his way in there. Now down inside Grossme, missed from point-blank range.
Boy.
And the Bulldogs get the uncontested board.
The Bulldogs fortunate there. Got to be aggressive on the glass for sure.
And Doring's averaging about 6 rebounds per game, and that was almost a huge one for Webster City if they had gotten any points out of that. Hard to rebound with the numbers disadvantage off the free throw offensively, but Webster City got the last one as Fike has it in the near corner to the right of us. Wearing those bright red Algona shoes as he passes it to Helmers. Helmers outside of the lane, rises for the jumper but left it short. It's poked away by Naroff, and Larson got it away from him. He rolls it into the lane, but then a timeout is called by Webster City. Doring got on top of the basketball. Boyd Larson.
Officials are talking about it though. I think, yeah, they're going to call a jump ball because they're going to say he did not have sole possession, so couldn't call the timeout.
Yeah, Coach Ratliff was desperately calling for the timeout from the side, and Boyd Larson made a saving play there for Algona to steal that one away when it looked like the play was over, and then have the presence of mind to roll it back into the lane with a Bulldog in the vicinity.
Those are the effort plays that you have to stay in a game like this.
Good senior play there by Larson, who will now trigger the inbounds play.
Well, now we got a question on the 35-second clock down here. It got reset to 35 and should not, because possession was not lost here. End up being called a jump ball, so they're going to have to, I think, do their best to estimate how much time is left.
Yeah, they'll have to work their way through that. Here's the players get a little mini timeout out of it.
See what they're going to do.
It's been pretty much nonstop action here in the third quarter as Webster City right now outscoring Algona 14-7 here in this third period. They've taken the 44-37 lead. Larson gets it into Fike.
They left it at 35, by the way.
They did leave it be as Helmers is in the lane. They're swarming him as he comes outside to Mansky. Mansky in front of the Algona bench, eyes the bucket, wants to drive baseline as Doring takes it away. Now Mansky backs his way in. Mansky into the lane, rises and line drive the jumper, and Doring fights for the rebound.
Boy, Bulldogs having some tough possessions right now.
Into the near corner, Grossme navigating the baseline, and a foul against Algona this time, their second of the half. That'll be Helmers picking up his second. And Coach Cecil is going to want a timeout here of 2:26 on the clock. Full timeout by Coach Cecil, so we will take it right with him. It is Webster City 44 and Algona 37 here on Hometown Radio, KLGA.
More sports club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Algona Livestock Sales. Sales every Monday.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce. 2 sauces for all seasons.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Holmes Animal Clinic. Animals large and small, they love them all.
Signworks for all your signage needs, as well as printed shirts, caps, and jackets. Stop in or call 295-9544.
Style Salon. Your salon in Algona. Create yourself.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance. Visit their studio or danceconnectionbymichelle.com.
TAFE Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong. Keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
All proud sponsors of this broadcast.
Webster City has put a little bit of space between themselves and the Algona Bulldogs, as right now Webster City with a 44-37 lead. But key part of this ball game now for the final 2:26 of the third quarter as Algona tries to get back within striking distance. Webster City has the basketball.
Nice
a great inbounds play, and Larson has the easy lay-in.
Boy, that was a nice pass, though. Bounce pass.
46-37, Webster City on top. Helmers has it on the right wing. Coach Cecil telling his offense to get moving here. Helmers turns, gets to the foul line, and sidearms it over to Fike. Fike on the left wing, passes at the 3. He'll drive instead, and he gets stopped. High lob to Mansky, who almost had it turned over. Top of the key, Helmers. He'll launch a 3, and he'll swish it. Oh, did Algona need that one?
Yeah, that was a huge shot. Bulldogs need a good defensive stand now.
46-40 Webster City as we tick down to the final 148 in the third quarter. Grossame backing his way in against Helmers. Finds the cutting to Roth, center of the lane. Outside it goes to Doring. He'll launch and he'll hit another three-pointer.
Boy, Doring did that earlier this quarter. Answered the Algona 3 with a big one of his own.
Doring has the worst three-point percentage of any of the Webster City starters, and he's hit 3 tonight. But still a decent three-point shooter. He's over 30%, but boy, Webster City's other starters all above 36% as Fike starts left of the lane, finds Helmers in the corner. Helmers crossing the lane, stopping in the center of the paint, out to Mansky. Mansky left angle three, and he drains it! The three balls are now raining down here in the third quarter. Both sides have found that shooting touch on the three as we're down to 1 minute to go in the third. Flipped up ahead to Doring. Doring looking inside to Larson posting up. He'll come to the top of the key. Grossman instead. And there's a missed three. He missed it off to the right. Can the Bulldogs add another bucket here as Weber flips it left to Fike. Thought about pulling for a deep triple, but he'll continue to work it. Far side to Helmers. A three from right in front of the Algona student section is left short, but Fike rebounds and he rises. It rolls up and it rolls in. Offensive board Simon Fike in a 4-point ball game. Bulldogs are getting the little push they need. Doring up the far side of the court. Picks up his dribble as Welp defends him. We'll come to Larson now back into the corner to Roth. Far side of the court. Shot clock and game clock even at 20. And now Grossame will back it up. Bangs with Fike to let him play. Grossame dribbles the right hand. He drives in. And now a foul on the floor against the Bulldogs.
Now Fike really trying to get aggressive out there. He knew there was going to be some contact if he took the ball to the basket.
His first third team foul.
Grossame was setting up like he's going to shoot free throws, but the referee said, I don't think so.
No, well before the shot. Well before the shot.
Algona will bring Devin Larson and Tristan Larson into the game. Fike and Welp head to the bench here. Doring will inbound it from the baseline with 14.4 seconds on the clock. Doring looking into the corner, knocked away by Weber. He was denying Grossame the basketball.
Yep.
Webster City will inbound it again.
Nice job, Weber, getting his hand on the ball.
And Grossame is the guy that you don't want with the ball in his hands in this situation as they'll bounce it into Naroff.
There we
and
go.
It's thrown away. It almost went out of bounds, but they threw it away. Larson gets it up to Helmers. Helmers looking to drive. He'll stop for a jumper, and he rattles it in. 2-point ball game. Oh, and then a jump ball forced by Algona.
Yeah,
they put the pressure on, and they forced the jump ball.
Larson, again, jumping in there. That could be a huge play because now 3 seconds left. That's an empty possession. Webster City Bulldogs can get the ball to start the quarter.
Webster City gets it in of 2 seconds. They'll heave from half court at the buzzer, and it's off the front of the rim. That was a close attempt by Naroff. But the Bulldogs close hard to end the third quarter, and we'll head to the fourth of a 2-point ball game. Webster City 49 and Algona 47 on Hometown Radio, KLGA.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio. Brought to you by these sports club members.
Farmer State Bank is proud to be a part of our community for over 125 years with offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Jensen Chiropractic. Care for the whole family.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Phil's Auto and Truck Repair. Service is the difference.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Oak Crest Funeral Services. Celebrating a life lived.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. Collision Specialist. A total commitment to excellence.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service, call 295-SOFT.
Algona Pizza Ranch. There's so much to love.
All bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
And we head to the fourth quarter here on Hometown Radio, KLGA, and the Algona Radio YouTube stream. And we have a good one brewing. It's Webster City 49 and Algona 47. Bulldogs with the basketball. It's Mansky. Mansky driving in. Mansky puts it up, and he puts it in. We are all tied up at 49.
Well, they're the Bulldogs who withstood the rally. They were down 9. They got it back tied.
Now Webster City has Grossame wide open near corner, and he airballed the three. He got excited and he launched it long. And we have a jump ball on the rebound as Claver and Larson got tied up, rolling on the floor after that ball.
Well, and again, Larson, the effort here by that kid, again, tying the ball up, flips the arrow. Webster City still has the ball right now, but that means Algona's going to get the next one.
Yeah, big play by Larson. Naroff comes up top to Doring, over to the left, McKinney. McKinney into the lane. McKinney rolls it up, and a blocking foul on Algona. Ball swirled out of the cup, but McKinney will have 2 free throws on the way.
Well, again, it was Larson trying to get in the way to get the charge there. McKinney using his speed to take it in the basket. Just about got that one to go down.
Yeah, you can never fall asleep on McKinney. He's really been looking to initiate all night and try to drive in, and he is rewarded here of 2 free throws. And McKinney swishes that first one. Webster City is a team, not a great free throw shooting unit. Just 58% this year. That is number 7 in the North Central, but just about everything else they've done pretty well. Second foul shot on the way, and McKinney a perfect 2 for 2 at the line.
McKinney now 5 out of 6 at the line.
51-49, Webster City leading Algona. Weber up the court, tried to thread it inside to the cutting Helmers, but there was a ton of traffic, and that's intercepted. Doring to Claver. Now Doring gets it back on the left wing. He'll shoot another 3, and that one he missed. Weber sails in for the rebound. Almost got undercut that time, but he kept his feet. And now the Algona senior brings it into the front court. To the left to Larson with 7:07 on the clock. Larson holds it, looking for someone to pop open, as Devin Larson now gets it from Tristan Larson. Over to the left, Weber. Weber drives baseline, sees an opening. Shot blocked, but also a foul. Yep. Weber will shoot 2 as McKinney can't believe it.
Yeah, returning the favor. That time as Weber took it hard on the baseline side with McKinney on him and just forced the action. McKinney got caught with the hand on the elbow.
Weber is a 62% foul shooter as they'll set up here. Bulldogs 8-3 on the season as Weber drains that foul shot. The 3 teams Algona has lost to are combined 27-6 if you look at Charles City as well as Humboldt and Clear Lake. Bulldogs trying to get what would be their best win of the season tonight. By far, as it'll be Lions checking in to replace Doring. But Webster City certainly not going away quietly. Weber's second foul shot bounces off, no good, but the offensive board is chased down by Helmers. He spins away from traffic, but then it's picked away from behind by Naroff. Naroff with a good steal on Helmers. Bounces it to Lyons, he's open. It's blocked from behind by Larson, but a foul. Boy, Lyons was slow getting that ball out of his hand, which allowed Larson to catch up to him, but Larson called for the foul, and Lyons will shoot 2.
Larson surprised, he thought he was on top of the ball there, but I thought maybe they were calling body underneath, but the official did signal on the arm there.
Lyons has not been at the foul line a lot this year as he's 2 of 5 at the charity stripe, and he misses on the first one. So 51-50 right now, Webster City on top of Algona. Right now, foul-wise, Algona has 5 team fouls, Webster City with 3. And the second one is good as Lyons splits the pair, and Webster City has a 2-point advantage. Weber, far side of the court in front of the Algona crowd. Big crowd tonight, getting treated to a great game here in Game 2 of our basketball doubleheader. To left wing Weber, he'll let the 3-pointer fly, but he missed it to the right. Rebound pinballs for a moment, but it's picked up by Grossame with 6.5 minutes on the clock. Grossame had 21 points in one of the games last year against Algona. He has 17 tonight. Banging his way inside. Claver hits the spin move and lays it in.
Well, he's got a quick spin move there. He gets close to the basket using that left hand.
54-50, Webster City back up by 4. Passes behind Devin Larson. He picks it up, stays in bounds, finds a cutting Helmers at the edge of the lane, spins and hits the jumper. Boy, he spun right into traffic that time, but he hit the jumper anyways, and it's a 2-point game. 54-52, Webster City. Bulldogs guarding Grossame as Weber guards him. He brings it into the front court. Lines in the near corner to the left of us. Lines into the line. He got stripped. Devin Larson had the takeaway, and now here comes Tristan Larson. Up to Mansky. Grossame knocked it away. Larson slides on his knees to get the ball, and he traveled. Yeah, he slid on the floor that time like a base runner sliding into third base in baseball, and the referees will get that one every time.
Yeah, right call. Good hustle, but right call. Bulldogs just need a little bit more control in that possession.
Welp will come in. Larson will head to the bench after giving the Bulldogs some serious energy the last few minutes.
Yes, yeah, he did.
Devin Larson remains in the game right now. With 5:40 on the clock, Webster City up by 2. Grossame getting pestered by Weber in the backcourt as he passes to the near side to Naroff. And across the timeline are the Lynx. Naroff over to the right, McKinney. McKinney around the edge of the lane, guarded by Welp, and now he bounces it back to the outside to Naroff. Halmer's giving him a little space. Claver's posting up inside, battling Afmansky right now, who's trying to deny the ball. In the corner, McKinney, he throws it behind his man. It's towards the backcourt, and that's an over and back violation as Claver couldn't save it with the dive.
Well, good defensive effort again by Algona, making the Lynx work, and they end up making a mistake. Now you got to take advantage of that extra opportunity you earned there.
So 54-52, Lynx still in the lead. Algona's just the third team this season to exceed the 50-point mark against Webster City. Mansky turnaround, and he missed the three-point jumper, and it's rebounded on the long deflection by Claver. Claver over 9.5 rebounds per game, second in the North Central this season as we're down to 5 minutes to go. Into the corner it goes to Claver, drives baseline, jump stopping, puts it up, he put it down, and he was fouled. Big bucket by Claver, who now has 14 points and a 4-point Webster City lead.
Boy, that was a big drive and a tough off-balance shot as he was falling away. Still had the presence of mind, put that ball up off the glass.
Claver at the line, shooting 1.
So Claver will try to finish off a three-point play. Boy, what an asset he is to have. A big who can also handle the ball well as he drains the foul shot. 57-52, Webster City on top of Algona as Claver has 15. Welp, make that Weber season opening. He gets right to the bucket and he floats it in. Back down to a three-point game. Caden Weber now with 9 points. Into the corner, Grossame. Grossame driving baseline, bounces to Naroff, and he missed it. Naroff was right under the bucket, maybe a little too close. Now Weber weaves into the front court across the foul line, bouncing it down low, and it's intercepted by McKinney. He stepped in front of the target.
Yeah, turnovers again, Bulldogs. That's the 4th one this quarter.
That has been an issue tonight for the Bulldogs, down by 3 right now. McKinney flipping it right to Naroff. Naroff pumps once over his head, then fakes it inside as he holds the ball with 4:13. Claver has it near to the top, guarded by Mansky, and a foul against Mansky this time as he got into the body of Claver. 4:08 left. That is going to be foul number 7 against Algona. So now for the final 4:08, Webster City is going to be in the bonus here. Now Webster City just has 3 team fouls, so Algona's a little ways away from the bonus, and a 1-and-1 coming here from Claver.
Bulldogs shot just 3 free throws in the game so far. The Lynx, this is attempt number 12 coming up.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of jumpers tonight from Algona. Of course, Helmers has continued to shoot them. A few mid-rangers from Weber as the first of the 1-and-1 is up and in by Claver.
Yeah, it's been the inside game of driving to the basket that have gotten the Lynx to the lane as much as they've gotten there. Right now, that's proven to be the difference in the ball game so far.
Claver sets up again, and he swishes the second foul shot. Claver now with 17 points. He and Grossame both have 17. Helmer's going inside, and he got swatted, but a foul. Helmer's tried to go quick the other way, and he'll shoot 2. Well, I think he heard us talking about Algona not shooting a whole lot of free throws, and he decided to take some aggressiveness on that possession. That's number 4 on Webster City, and Helmer's 51% from the line this season, trying to add to his 23 points.
No, short, left it short.
Left it short on the first one, and we'll have to try to settle for a split. Both Larsons on the floor right now for Algona as Weber's on the bench. Fike, Mansky, and Helmers. Webster City of Doring and Grossame as the second one misses badly, and it's rebounded by Webster City. Naroff also on. McKinney as well for the Lynx. They flip it to the right to Naroff with 3:53 on the clock. Back to the left, Doring. Doring flashing across the foul line. Turns towards the bucket, hit it off the side of the backboard, and now here comes Mansky. And Mansky got fouled in transition. That was not a foul that Grossame wanted to pick up, as that'll be number 5 against Webster City. And Bulldogs will bring Weber back into the game to replace Tristan Larson.
Yeah, because that certainly could be key. You don't want to be near the end of a close game with fouls to give by your opponent. So be nice to be in that 1-on-1 soon.
Bulldogs getting a little bit closer here, but still have a couple fouls to go on Webster City to get to that, as Larson has it top of the key, passing left to Weber in front of the Algona student section. Weber looking, players crash to the floor, and there's an offensive foul against Algona.
Yeah, Larson, Devin Larson.
Yeah, Grossame went spilling to the floor, and they got Larson, as that'll be his first. Algona's 8th as a team. Lynx have the basketball right now. It's Naroff, the senior, handling it in the backcourt as he flips it up ahead to Claver. Claver guarded by Mansky all the way towards half court. Claver dribbling with the left hand, gets inside. Fight comes over to help, pokes the ball and briefly knocks it away. To the far corner, McKinney. He'll shoot a three, he left it way short, but it pops out to Claver for the offensive rebound. Guarded by Larson on the perimeter now. McKinney penetrating the lane, gets by Mansky, and it rolls off the cup.
Boy.
And a foul on the rebound. Boy, McKinney did a great job avoiding Mansky and hanging in the air, but it just bounced down. He did not get the friendly hop. And then Webster City picks up foul number 4 on the rough. And number 6 is a team.
All right, so the next one will be 1-1 for Algona, and that was a big miss by McKinney there. But I think you're right, he altered the shot so much. Getting around the defender there, just threw it off, couldn't put it down.
Yeah, and he knew Mansky was in that set position in plenty of time, so he had to go around him. He did not want to draw the offensive foul, but could not finish at the bucket. Under 3 minutes to go in this one. Webster City leading by 5 over Algona. Halmers on the wing. Halmers tried to hit a jab step and he traveled and he knew it.
Well, unfortunately, that's 6 turnovers on the Bulldogs here in the fourth quarter alone. That's really the Achilles heel right now, but still 3 minutes left, just under.
A timeout is called by Webster City, and we'll take this timeout with 2:54 on the clock. It's Webster City 59 and Algona 54 here on the Algona Radio YouTube page and KLGA 92.7.
More Sports Club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Reeb's Wicked Good Bar and Grill. For wicked good food, drinks, and service, you gotta go to Reeb's.
CB Grain Solutions, satisfaction guaranteed.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
Dump it. They do the dirty work so you don't have to.
Albert Electric. Flip the switch to Albert Electric.
Grassmasters, growing satisfied customers.
Greg Penny and Company CPA, certified public accountants, where everyone counts.
Yemlin Builders and Apartments, quality apartments for rent, beauty and craftsmanship that will never go out of style.
Daylight Donuts, open early with delicious donuts and great coffee.
All sponsors of this broadcast.
Webster City hang on, or will Algona rally late? We will find out as Webster City leads Algona 59-54. 2:54 left in this big North Central Conference matchup. Two of the better teams in the league as we come out of the timeout. It'll be Webster City with the basketball. Again, 2:54 left and a 5-point advantage. Right now, Claver and Grossame both have 17 for Webster City. Halmers with 23 for Algona. It'll be Lyons bringing it into the front court as he comes right to McKinney, guarded by Halmers along the perimeter. McKinney pumps inside as he holds the basketball, still hanging onto it, bouncing it now down to Grossame. Back out to McKinney, to Claver at the post. Mansky staying vertical. Claver gets to the center of the lane, and a foul against Algona. This will set up a 1-and-1 here against Claver as Mansky picks it up.
Personal foul called on Alex Mansky, his fourth.
Coach Cecil having a spirited discussion with the referee. I think he wants an explanation on that one. But Mansky and Claver, they've been playing physical all night, and that is going to be number 4 against Mansky. So we'll see if on the next possession, Webster City goes right back in and tries to attack Mansky again, because I would really say besides Mansky, you don't have a whole lot of guys who could defend Claver.
Right. Oh, that's exactly right. And Claver knew exactly what he wanted to do there, just keep on banging.
And he missed the first of the 1-and-1. Rebound pinballs, and Mansky has it for Algona. 2.5 minutes. Bulldogs could really use a bucket here. Mansky on the left wing. Gets to the foul line. Jump stops. It comes outside to Weber. Weber dribbles left around the perimeter and flips it over to Halmers. Halmers fades back for a three. It swirls out of the drain as it bounces a couple times on the rim. That one went every which way except for in. And now there's 2:10 left. Almost a steal by Weber, trying to take it from McKinney. Up the court, Grossame shoots the three, hits the three. Huge shot by Grossame.
Yeah, I got a 6-point turnaround there on the missed three by Algona and the made three there by Webster City.
62-54. Now Halmers slicing inside, and he'll draw the foul. So then Halmers will make another trip to the line here, and that one is picked up by Lyons. This is going to be a 1-and-1 for Halmers, as that one was not in the act of shooting. Tristan Larson will replace Devin Larson for Algona. So right now on the floor you have Tristan Larson as well as Welp, Halmers, Weber, and Mansky for the Bulldogs. Webster City has Doring and Grossmay as the foul shot is up and it is good by Helmers.
Helmers missed his last two badly, both short, very short. That one he had a nice delivery on.
Claver, McKinney, and Naroff also in for Webster City right now as Helmers up to 24 points. And the second one swirls off, no good. Fighting for the rebound and getting it is Weber. Weber goes up and he puts it in. Huge hustle play by Weber just to rip it away, and a steal. Larson intercepts the inbounds pass, and he traveled. Oh, he laid it in, but he traveled. He got it too excited after the interception, and that's a big turnover by the Bulldogs.
Oh, wow. Wow. Took a basket off the board, too, for Algona. Still just a 5-point game, though. Bulldogs are really coming after him.
Boy, the roof would have blown off this place if not for that travel. Now Doring has it on the left wing. 1:34 left and Webster City up by 5. They get McKinney down low, and Larson hit him and fouled him. That is a frustrated Tristan Larson who has had a couple breaks not go his way here the past couple of minutes. Simon Fike will come into the game, and that is foul number 5 against Larson, so he is done for the evening. And McKinney to the charity stripe. Right now McKinney sitting on 11 points. And it rattles out no good. Weber went in to rebound it, but that was 2 shots here for McKinney as that was foul number 10 against Algona.
And make sure you secure the rebound if this one misses.
Second one on the way, and it knuckleballed. Rebound is pinball, and it's taken by Mansky. Grossmay nearly had another one for Webster City. Mansky over to Fike, sidesteps, steps back for the 3, and he sticks it! Simon Fike makes it a 2-point game! Now some pressure by the Algona defense. 1:15 left, the Bulldogs have gotten back into it. They're down by 2. Claver on the perimeter, guarded by Mansky with 1:10 left. Helmers trying to knock the ball away from him as he bounces it left to Naroff. They got it out of Claver's hands, it goes to Grossmay. McKinney driving, feeding Naroff in the corner. Helmers gives him a little space with 59 seconds left. To the left with McKinney. Claver down on the post, knocked away by Mansky, and a steal. Mansky stole it away with 50 seconds left. And then a foul. Claver dove in at Mansky's knees, and he fouled him. What a huge swing in momentum.
Why, absolutely, and credit the hustle by these Bulldogs. All over the court.
Claver is trying to get aggressive and get the steal. He thought Mansky was being a little loose with the ball, bringing it up the court. But that foul will send Mansky to the line for a 1-and-1 here. Mansky, a 74% free throw shooter. First one on the way, and he drains it. 1-point game. A few minutes ago, it felt like this one was over after Grossmay hit the 3-pointer, but Algona has roared back into it. And a timeout is called by Coach Brett Radcliffe and the Webster City Lynx. It's a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it right here. This crowd is roaring. It's a 1-point game, and Alex Mansky has 30 seconds to think about this next free throw.
Yes, he does, but Coach Cecil down there talking to him probably about what's going to happen after the free throw, what we're going to do defensively, because we're going to have at least 2 possessions, more than likely more, here to finish this ball game. And how about that? Because this game went out to 9 points, Webster City, and I'm back to a big Webster City lead late here. But really tremendous hustle by the Algona Bulldogs, defensively especially, knocking the balls away and getting rebounds. And they have clawed their way right back into this one, now with a chance to tie it with 48.9 left. Great effort.
So heading to the line is Mansky with a critical free throw to try to lock it up at 62 apiece. The student section goes quiet in the background as Mansky sets up. Free throw on the way, and it swirls out of the cup. Grossmay grabs the rebound, and a foul on Algona. So now Webster City will head all the way to the other end of the court and shoot 2 here as Mansky could not knock it down. But the key thing is, regardless of what happens here at the line, it's a 1-possession game. But if any miss happens on the second free throw, you have to rebound here if you're Algona.
Yeah, you can't give them the ball back. Still, 47 seconds left. But
Grossmay knocks it in. He has 21 points, and Webster City has a 2-point lead. Well, the Bulldogs have Mansky and Fike down at the bottom in the rebounding position as a timeout is going to be called by Coach Cecil with 47 seconds on the clock. Well, right now, if you're Coach Cecil, you had a minute to talk things over, but I think you're saying rebound, rebound, rebound. No more offensive rebounds by Webster City. I think that's message number one here in the timeout, and then you're trying to figure out what plays next depending on what happens here on this free throw. If they make it, you're down by 3. If not, you can have the 2 still in your game here.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to make sure you get a good shot down here. Like you said, it's going to be one possession regardless what happens, and you don't have to have the 3. So, you know, it's early enough in the game here, you're going to have more chances. You don't have to come down and shoot a 3 necessarily. You just need to get the first good available shot, and because you're not going to get too many more opportunities, but you want to get what you can.
And that's a good point. Should Algona go down by 3 here, like you said, they don't necessarily need a 3 immediately. It's early enough you can play the foul game against a very mediocre foul shooting team. Now, Webster City shot decently on free throws so far this evening, but on the season, number 7 in the North Central Conference out of the 8 teams in foul shooting. But Grossame at the line, he's a 64% free throw shooter, trying to set up a second one here. Grossame missed it off the back of the cup. Rebound is tipped, and that's a foul on Webster City that went over the back of Fike.
Yep, it was indeed.
So march it down to the other end of the court. Simon Fike will now shoot a 1-and-1 as that was foul number 9 on Webster City. Fike is a 62.5% free throw shooter. So far tonight, Fike has 11 points. And he's hit a couple big threes down the stretch. He had one that got it down to a 2-point game. As his first of the 1-and-1 is on the way, and it's good. 63-62. And now can Algona tie the game? Yes, they can. Simon Fike with 2 clutch free throws, and we are locked up at 63. 10-second difference between game clock and shot clock. There's 42 seconds now on the game clock. And this crowd roaring in the background. Claver against Mansky. Into the corner it goes. 3-point ball. Grossame missed it. Fike with the rebound, and now the shot clock is off. Coach Cecil saying, slow it down, guys.
That was a rush shot, I thought, there by Webster City.
That was their best shooter, but not their best shot attempt.
Yes.
No doubt about it, as Welp has it. Now he gives it to Mansky. 16 seconds left. Mansky's on the right wing as he's guarded by McKinney. 12 seconds now. Mansky still with it. Up top, Weber with 9 seconds. Can Algona muster some more late-game magic? To left, Halmer, 5 seconds. 4 seconds for Halmers. Trying to shake loose. 3 seconds for Halmers. He doesn't have much space. Rises at the buzzer, and he left the jumper short. 32 minutes of basketball action is not enough as we are heading to overtime. Great defense at the end of regulation on Ben Halmers. They would not let him get loose for a jumper. We are tied up at 63, and for the first time this season, Algona is heading to overtime. Well, Greg, we weren't kidding when you said this game was going to be one that came down to the very end, and we have overtime basketball coming up next on Hometown Radio, KLGA.
At Security State Bank, we realize each customer has a unique set of needs and goals. That's why we place a greater value on providing outstanding customer service. All products and services are designed for customers within our local community. We value each customer that walks through our door and wants to give them the personalized attention they deserve. Find out why Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne is your partner in community banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
.32 minutes of basketball, not enough to decide it between the 8-3 Algona Bulldogs and the 9-1 Webster City Lynx. Ben Helmers' jumper at the buzzer was left short, and we are heading to overtime as we'll head right again to midcourt and get set to tip things off of this overtime period. 4 minutes are on the clock, so half the length of the normal quarter, as it'll be Helmers and Grossame at midcourt. 63 apiece. Helmers taps it sideways, but it's taken by McKinney, and Webster City has it. Doring gets the ball coming out of the tip, up to the top to the Roth. Head fakes, drives in, doesn't have space. Kicks it out McKinney. Catch and fire 3, and he left it short. Rebound gets tapped, and there's a foul on Webster City. I believe they're going to get Grossame, and they are. They've had a couple of those over the back, trying to rebound against Algona here in the fourth quarter and in overtime.
Yeah, they have, and that's something for them to be aware of. I think there was contact, maybe not a lot, but there was contact there.
So now both teams have exceeded that 10 foul mark in the second half, so it is double bonus time from here on out. Mansky at the foul line, and he drains it. Now remember, Alex Mansky has 4 fouls. He's in foul trouble. Jason Aroff for Webster City has 4 fouls. He's in foul trouble. And Briar Claver has 4 fouls, also in foul trouble. So there's a lot of potential landmines here at the end. Algona has their lead, though, right now, 64-63. And Mansky got it again, 65-63. Well, Bulldogs for the first punch of overtime, and that can be so critical to setting the momentum. Up the court to McKinney. McKinney driving into the center of the lane. It comes back out to Grossame, curling his way inside of the foul line, and that'll be a foul on Algona. Weber working against him on defense, and Weber will pick up his 4th foul of the game, and 2 free throws coming by Grossame.
Well, I think the officials really on top of this, calling it pretty close, especially down the stretch here. They know how intense this game is, and they're going to call any foul they see.
Grossame drains the big foul shot. He now has 22 points, and it is a 1-point margin. Algona 65 and Webster City 64. Grossame third in the North Central Conference in scoring at 18.5 per game, and he splashes the second one through, and we are locked up at 65 apiece. 23 by Grossame right now. Ben Helmer's the game's leading scorer with 24 points. Alex Mansky right now with 10 for Algona. Mansky has it at the foul line, right of the lane, lost the handle on it, and it's out of bounds. Just crossed himself up driving in, and that is a key turnover with 3:19 left. Bulldogs throw the full court pressure on. We'll back off a little bit of Naroff. Now they'll try to trap him. He bounces it over to the left to Doring. Doring sprinting ahead into the front court with 3:13 on the clock and gets it up to Naroff to run the point. Naroff hands it off to McKinney, who curls around to the left. Dribbles between the legs and flips back to the right. McKinney drives, dishes into a corner to Naroff. Naroff finds the cutting Grossame, puts it up to the left hand, and he got fouled. 2 free throws coming by Grossame, and if that was on Weber, he's done, as Weber's already making his way towards the bench. His 5th foul of the night. So Devin Larson will come in to replace Weber, and Weber is done for the night with 11 points. So Grossame at the line, a 64% foul shooter. Crowd roaring in the background, and he drains the first one. Well, Webster City's dropping everyone back. They're going to concede the rebound because they don't want to let Algona have any runouts here in the final 3 minutes. And the second foul shot is missed. It'll stay at a 1-point game. And Bulldogs will get into their half-court offense. Right now, 24 points by Grossame as Welp has the basketball. Welp towards the left to Fike. Fike looking for someone to pop open, takes one dribble and comes to the right to Welp. Welp holding it to the right of center. Larson curling into the lane. That pass knocked away, but it went right to Mansky. A big break by Algona. Larson jump stopping into the lane, turns around for a jumper, and it's buried! Devin Larson gives Algona a 1-point lead of 2:28 left. That is his first bucket of the game, and it could not come at a bigger time.
That was a tough shot, too. Turnaround jumper, a lot of defensive pressure.
67-66. Naroff over the Grossame. Left angle 3. And he splashes it. Webster City now goes up by 2 as Grossame has 27. 69-67. Welp up top. Can the Bulldogs answer as we're down to 2 minutes left? Now Mansky has it. Oh, and a travel. An unforced error by Algona as Mansky traveled.
Yeah, and I think he did. Really unfortunate, but he just received the ball and just a little hop.
Yeah, it's one of those subtle ones that they caught.
Man.
Mansky didn't put up much of a protest, though. I think he realized what happened. As Webster City's up by 2, and now it's a critical Lynx possession. Can they bring it up to a 2-possession game? Oh, almost a knockaway. Bulldogs almost had the steal. McKinney tiptoeing, and then a reach-in foul. Helmer saw the ball exposed, but then he reached in as McKinney tucked it back away, and McKinney will shoot 2. That is 3rd on Ben Helmers. And McKinney's been good at the line so far this evening. Once again, Webster City will drop 4 players back. They will concede the rebound if McKinney misses the second one. Got the first one, 3-point game. And now a massive foul shot is coming up. Missed it. Stays a 1-possession game as he missed it to the right. Bulldogs got the easy rebound, and now here's Welp. Welp in front of the Bulldog bench, left to Fike. That pass was almost jumped by McKinney. Finds Mansky in the corner, back to Fike, left wing. Fike trying to shake loose, he'll find Larson. Driving baseline, Larson rises, and he got fouled. Devin Larson will shoot 2 here as Fike couldn't shake loose for the three-pointer, but he'll get Larson to the line here and try to trim a couple off the deficit.
Nice job by Larson, a little ball fake there. Got McKinney up in the air.
Well, they say when you come off the bench, the ball will find you one way or the other. Weber fouls out. Larson buries a huge jumper earlier, and now he's at the foul line here for a pair of big free throws. First one misses off to the left. Larson came into this game 2 for 4 at the charity stripe on the season, so not a whole lot of times at the line so far. Second one bounces off the rack, and it gets the friendly drop. Oh, the very friendly bounce makes it a 2-point game. And Coach Radcliffe is screaming. He's saying that one hit the extension above the backboard. The referees are saying that it did not. They're letting the free throw count right now. A timeout is called on the floor. Boy, that was a close one. I mean, Greg, it did deflect high up in the air, but guess it just missed that extension when it dropped in.
Well, and we have seen a lot of shots, well, not a lot, but several shots this year that have done that. Hit the rim, bounce up, and touch that cable that supports the backboard mechanism to raise the backboards. And coaches seem pretty sure that that did touch the cable, but officials didn't see it. In any case, it counts for Algona. They're down just 2 now. So still a lot of time left here, 1:27. Got to have another solid defensive possession here. Make them work for a shot. Don't give up anything easy.
Yeah, nothing easy. And in this situation, Webster City, they have been just planting the ball into Grossemay's hands. As he has 27 points. And boy, Grossmay is going to be their best free throw shooter on the floor right now. So this is probably who they'll try to get it to. We'll see if Algona can deny him the basketball. Right now, Webster City is going to have Doring as well as Naroff, McKinney, Claver, and Grossmay on the floor. 70-68, Webster City on top of Algona here in overtime. 1:25 left. Bulldogs are going to try to turn it over in the backcourt, but Webster City gets it to McKinney, and the pass is tipped, and McKinney volleyballed it up to Grossmay. Grossmay baseline jumper, missed off the back of the cup. Rebound is loose, and Webster City collected in the lane, and now Larson jumps the pass. Larson up the court, and it's stripped away from behind, out of bounds, and Algona will keep it. What a crazy sequence there.
Oh my goodness sakes, I guess.
McKinney lost the ball initially. Algona almost got it, but he was able to tip it to his own player. Grossmay missed the baseline jumper. The ball was loose in the lane for a long time. It was rebounded by Naroff. Then Naroff's pass got jumped by Larson, and Larson had it poked away from behind. Welp in the lane. Welp rises, got the man to jump, and he was fouled. Welp nearly had a 3-point play as he'll shoot 2.
Yeah. That would have been huge, obviously, but 2 free throws here.
His third.
Welp has looked to pass today. He has not looked to score, as he is not on the scoreboard yet, but he's a 72% free throw shooter, and his first one is perfect. 1-point game, Webster City leading Algona by 1. And Coach Radcliffe wants a timeout. He's icing Landon Welp here. They're icing the kicker with 1:05 left in this one. Full timeout is called, but we'll keep it right here of how intense this one is. Boy, Greg, this is one of the best crowds we've seen from the season in Algona. Full gym here tonight. They have gotten an absolute treat with a 1-point game. But boy, a lot to think about here. If you're the Bulldogs, do you go for the rebound here if Welp misses it, or do you try to drop everyone back and make sure Webster City doesn't get an easy run out if Welp happens to miss the second one?
Yeah, we'll see what Coach Cecil decides to do, but I don't think it's necessary to drop everybody back. So I could see keeping 2 up there, maybe dropping a second or third player back, but I don't think you need to give up completely on a rebound. Bulldogs have really got themselves back into this one through pure hustle. You know, and boy, I wouldn't want to eliminate a chance for another hustle rebound down here by these scrappy Bulldogs.
And they will set up to rebound here. It'll be Mansky and Helmers in those rebounding positions at the edge of the lane. And Welp setting up for a big second foul shot. Webster City 70, Algona 69. Bulldogs trying to hand Webster City their second loss in a row. Algona trying to extend a 6-game winning streak, or make that a 5-game winning streak. Welp, second free throw, and it's a swish. We are tied at 70. 1 minute left, and here comes McKinney. McKinney dribbled it off a leg. Helmers tried to dive and steal it, but he couldn't get to it. McKinney up to the top, and the pass is intercepted by Helmers. He jumps in the rough. He came in from behind the play, and the rough almost stole it, and then a bump and a foul. The rough almost stole it away from Helmers. Then his momentum just carried him into the body of Fike, and that is a foul on Webster City.
Well, the energy, the adrenaline, these players is just about off the charts, and that's what you're seeing there. A little ragged play perhaps, but it's all about effort. Both teams really going all out here.
And Fike at the line for 2 critical free throws as his first one rattles out, no good. That will increase the pressure of the second one, no doubt about it. It's a shame one of these teams has to lose this game. This has been a classic.
This has been an excellent ball game.
Second one for Simon Fike. It rattles and it gets the friendly drop. Algona back in front, 71-70. Double-digit lead changes in this game. Now 46 seconds left. 15-second difference between game clock and shot clock. McKinney has it up top. The screen. He runs into Mansky, and a blocking foul on Alex Mansky, and he is done for the evening. That is foul number 5 on Mansky, and he's a little slow getting up after that one as well.
He took a real shot there. McKinney really put him on the floor, and Mansky doing his best to draw the charge, but tough call for the officials. I mean, that's probably the toughest call in the game of basketball, particularly when you got quick players. Determine if that position was established.
Well, coming in for the first time tonight, Jack Limbaugh, as McKinney swishes the foul shot, and we are tied at 71. How's this for a time to come in for the first time in the entire game as Mansky is fouled out, and Limbaugh will place him at the 5. McKinney's second foul shot bounces and it drops in. Oh, he got the friendly soft hop on the rim, and Webster City's up by 1. 3-second difference between game clock and shot clock. We're down to 32 seconds in the game. Devin Larson has it up top. Larson flips it left to Fike. Mansky and Tristan Larson have both fouled out for Algona, as well as Caden Weber. They have 3 players unavailable at this point. In the lane, Helmers rises for a jumper, can't bank it in, and the rebound is hugged by Grossame, and a jump ball! Bulldogs forced a jump ball, and the possession arrow is towards Algona. How's that for hustle? Welp was in there, Limbaugh was in there, and the Bulldogs forced the tie-up.
Well, that's, man, oh man. Never say die, Bulldogs here tonight. Again, on that tough shot for Helmers. Had 2 defenders right there on him, but we've seen him do that so often, but just glanced off. And again, the game could have been pretty much over. I mean, you're still maximum of 3 points because you probably foul right away and send them to the line, but really an uphill climb if you don't get that rebound, or in this case, the tie-up, which gives on the arrow back to Algona. We talked about that earlier, how many times the hustle has flipped the arrow and how critical that can be. Here it is, 14 seconds left of the game.
Perfect example of that. Bulldogs are now out of timeouts as Coach Cecil has used his last timeout. Webster City does have 2 timeouts left with 14 seconds left to go in this overtime period. Webster City 72 and Algona 71 right now. But boy, a saving jump ball. The possession arrow is flipped now towards Webster City as the Bulldogs take advantage of the jump ball. They'll get it into Helmers. Now Fike, top of the key, over to the right to Welp. 11 seconds to go. They find Helmers. Helmers trying to shake loose, and he got fouled. He was pushed with 8 seconds left, and Ben Helmers was fouled. He will shoot 2 free throws with the Bulldogs, trailing by 1.
Well, very physical defense. Again, been played all night by both teams, and the officials have been doing this consistently. You body up against somebody and bump them, they're going to call the foul, and McKinney did that time on Helmers.
That's number 4 on McKinney. Everyone getting in foul trouble tonight. Helmers' first one misses off the back of the cup. Now all they can hope to do is tie the game with 8.3 seconds left. Bulldogs have Limbaugh and Fike in there to try to rebound if any miss happens here by Helmers. Helmers again. He got it! We're tied at 72. Ben Helmers with ice water in his veins, and McKinney streaks at the far side of the court. 5 seconds, 4 seconds. They bounce to Lyons. Lines up. He missed it, but followed by Claver. He got it at the buzzer. Brian Claver wins it with an offensive rebound and the stick back.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
74-72. Webster City is going to steal this one from Algona at the end. They missed their first opportunity, but Briar Claver sailed in. Nobody got a body on him, and he laid it in, clearly ahead of the buzzer. Just a couple hundredths of a second left, and the Bulldogs had no time to do anything after that. Briar Claver, a buzzer beater, breaks the Bulldogs' heart tonight. Well, the 5-game winning streak is over as the Bulldogs drop to 8-4 on the season. They're now 3-3 in the North Central Conference. Webster City is 10-1, 6-1 in conference play, and they had to take it to every last second tonight. We'll take a timeout and have a look at the final stats and recap this one coming up next on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these sports club members.
American Glass, for all your glass needs, think American.
Farm Bureau Financial Agents Dave Beisch, Jason Brace, Daniel Foth, and Michael Tull.
Chemco Tires, they're all you need to know about tires and service.
Weichert Realtors, the 515 Agency, a fresh approach to real estate.
Feed Mill Coffee Company, where community connects.
Iowa Lakes Community College, your community, your college.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, insuring our neighbors for over 80 years.
Walker Chiropractic and Wellness, caring for Algona, Sway City, and the surrounding areas with chiropractic, nutritional, and physical therapy services.
All proud sponsors of this broadcast.
I loved playing high school sports. I loved the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, all the pageantry, and I wanted to keep playing. But I graduated. No colleges called, and neither did the pros. So, to stay close to the game I loved, I decided to become a high school official. You know, a referee. When I played high school sports, I learned the importance of integrity, good sportsmanship, and respect for the rules. Now, as a high school official, I get to help model these same values to others. Maybe the colleges and the pros didn't call, but the kids in Iowa did. And now, I'm enjoying the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, and all the pageantry of high school sports all over again.
Interested in becoming a licensed high school official? Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn more and begin the application process.
More sports club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Kasuth Regional Health Center, make KRHC your home for healthcare.
North Iowa Appliance Center, Highway 18 East Algona, where they sell the best and service the rest.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country, Highway 18 West.
Algona Plumbing and Heating, where a good flush always beats a full house.
Runkey Brothers Full Service, experience the Runkey Brothers difference for all of your auto service and repair needs.
Erpelding and Boyd CPAs, they're not just about taxes.
Erpelding Excavating Enterprise, let them take care of your grading, excavating, and drainage needs.
Hy-Vee, use the Fuel Saver card, fill your cart, fuel your car.
AK's Chrome Kitchen, when you come in, your family.
All sports club members bringing you this broadcast.
At Security State Bank, we realize each customer has a unique set of needs and goals. That's why we place a greater value on providing outstanding customer service. All products and services are designed for customers within our local community. We value each customer that walks through our door and wants to give them the personalized attention they deserve. Find out why Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne is your partner in community banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these sports club members.
Farmer State Bank is proud to be a part of our community for over 125 years with offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Jensen Chiropractic, care for the whole family.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Phil's Auto and Truck Repair, service is the difference.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Oak Crest Funeral Services, celebrating a life lived.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Algona Frame and Auto Body, collision specialist, a total commitment to excellence.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service, call 295-SOFT.
Algona Pizza Ranch, there's so much to love.
All bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio. For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa bone, joint, and sports surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
Well, Briar Claver rips Algona fans' hearts out tonight with a buzzer-beating putback. Webster City had one final possession in overtime of the game, tied at 72. They initially missed the go-ahead shot, but Briar Claver was Johnny on the spot. He laid it in and gave the Webster City Lynx a scintillating 74-72 victory over the Algona Bulldogs as Algona's 5-game winning streak comes to an end. And boy, 2 high-quality teams here tonight battling out at Algona High School. Greg, I'll tell you what, there were so many storylines in this game, we couldn't possibly recap them here all in the time that we have, but we'll start here at the very end of the game. Bulldogs found themselves down, I believe, by 5 or 6 in the final minute or two of the game, but a couple forced turnovers, some good hustle plays, a timely free by Simon Fike, a couple made free throws, and all of a sudden the Bulldogs were able to fight their way into overtime. But boy, as you mentioned, they just could not come up with that final rebound at the end, and Claver ends up with 19 points, with those final 2 being the biggest of the night.
Well, I think classic maybe is the best word I can think of to describe this ball game. I mean, those are 2 really good 3A basketball teams, and they both played tremendously hard, really all night long, and both teams answered some adversity. The hustle by Algona was just tremendous down the stretch. When they got themselves in a little bit of a hole, they just clawed their way back into this thing. And you said, I think, at the end of regulation, it'd be a shame. It's going to be a shame for anybody to leave this gym losing this ball game, because they both deserve a W out of that. Unfortunately, it's the Bulldogs, but I think, the coaching staff and the kids are all yes, they're going to be disappointed that one got away, but I think they also know, all right, that's the number 5 team in the state, or at least they were last week. That's a top 10 team in the state that they took right down to the wire. So can Algona play with some of the best teams in the state? Yes, they can. So in that regard, it's a confidence booster, a temporary disappointment that it got away, and the 3 teams that you hoped you could steal one from, now the Bulldogs are 0 for 3. They've lost against Clear Lake and Humboldt on the road, and now Webster City in a heartbreaker here in overtime at home. The good news, however, is, again, the confidence level. I don't believe the Bulldogs' confidence should be shaken at all tonight. They should leave here knowing we can play with the best teams, and the good news is we play all 3 of them again. So there is a rematch against all 3 of these teams, and the Bulldogs can still have a lot to say about this North Central Conference race.
You're absolutely right, Greg. And like we said, heading into this, the 3 losses for the Bulldogs have all been against very good teams. They had that really close non-conference loss to Charles City earlier, and then the Humboldt and Clear Lake losses that you just referenced. And boy, another close one goes against the Bulldogs here. They've had a few ones. Obviously, right after winter break, they had a close one go in their favor in the win over Garner Hayfield Ventura. But here tonight, the ball did not bounce their way at the very end. But man, like you said, hustle is what got Algona back into this game. And really, I shouldn't just point out Algona. Both teams had tremendous hustle plays down the stretch. Webster City certainly included in that. But a couple plays that stick out in my mind, near the end of regulation, when the Bulldogs were trailing, Tristan Larson dove to save a ball from going out of bounds, shoveled it into the lane, and I think it forced a jump ball at that point, which saved a possession for Algona.
Right.
And then, of course, in overtime with 8 seconds left, the Bulldogs were able to force a jump ball off a missed free throw when they tried to offensive rebound it. And, as we all know, it's very hard to get an offensive rebound off the free throw. That's a huge numbers disadvantage.
Yes.
But the Bulldogs had Welp and Limbaugh in there to try to force a jump ball there, so that gave them an extra possession as well, which allowed Helmers to get to the line and hit the tying free throws a couple moments later. So those are a couple huge hustle plays for Algona. On the negative side, though, I think the few things Algona will look at tonight with regret is too many turnovers early in the game. Webster City jumped a lot of passes, and that gave them a few of their easy earlier buckets, and then just too many offensive rebounds by Webster City. Obviously, the final one is the one that sticks out, but Webster City did have a good amount of offensive rebounds throughout the course of the night, a few more than the Bulldogs would like to have against them, obviously. So those would be a couple areas that would be negatives coming out of tonight, but man, oh man, like you said, two great teams here matching up in this game, and certainly I'll reiterate, a shame that one of them had to lose in it.
Yeah, absolutely, that's the case, and you're right. The turnovers were one of the bugaboos for the Bulldogs tonight, and two particular junctures in the game, I thought. One was in the second quarter, the Bulldogs, and quite often, like you said, it was on that entry pass, getting into the offense, passing into one of the wings, and they were able to jump that, knock the ball away, got 5 turnovers on the Bulldogs in the second quarter alone. And then the Bulldogs, kind of hard to believe, really, that they're down 2 at the end of the third quarter. And the Bulldogs unofficially here turned it over 7 times in the fourth quarter and still tied the ball game. So they got 4 turnovers out of the Lynx. But for the night, I've got Algona with 19 turnovers. That's probably on the high side, a few too many. So taking a little bit better care of the ball. And like I said, the 2 junctures there, probably the second quarter where the Lynx got out to a little bit of a lead. Bulldogs came back. And then the fourth quarter made that really difficult. When you give up 7 possessions in the fourth quarter. But again, hats off to the Bulldogs that they still tied the game, even with that being said. And that's just great hustle, great effort both ways. And offensive rebounds here, again, unofficially at Webster City with 9 offensive boards on the night, and certainly none bigger than that last one. And there was no doubt the shot left his hand before the buzzer went off.
100%.
But it didn't make it through the net before the buzzer went off. It was one of those buzzer beaters that all kids dream of having a chance at. This one, maybe not as dramatic. It was a rebound putback rather than a 3-point jumper or something like that, like Weber hit at Garner. But nonetheless, a lot of celebration by the Lynx fans there. The stats that I mentioned at halftime, and I won't spend a lot of time on them here, but very even at halftime, 30-30. And this is an overtime ball game, 74-72. The stats as I have them, really very even. Both teams shooting 51% from the field. It's great to shoot over 50% from the field in any ball game, but both these teams shot 51% from the field. The Bulldogs 26 out of 51, and the Lynx, I've got 25 out of 49. The Lynx had 7 3-point shots out of 21. The Bulldogs made 6 out of 19. There was a big free throw discrepancy until we hit the end stretch of this ball game. Bulldogs made 7 out of 10 in overtime. The Lynx made 6 out of 8. For the game, the Lynx hit 17 free throws to the Bulldogs 12. So there was one difference there, a 5 free throw difference. The Lynx also shot 5 more, 26 to the Bulldogs 21. The Lynx shooting 65% at the line. The Bulldogs just 57% from the line. So that might be another area you'd like to see improved, tweaked a little bit as the Bulldogs move on into the second half of the season here. But overall, yes, there's always things to improve on. A lot of disappointment here in an overtime loss, but boy, there's got to be a lot of heart in Bulldog fans and players with the effort that they gave tonight and the fact that they took a top 10 team right down to the buzzer in overtime.
No doubt about it. As a couple final scoring numbers for tonight look like this. For Algona, it was Ben Helmers leading the way of 24, Simon Fike with 13, Caden Weber of 11, and Alex Mansky of 10. On the Webster City side of things, they were led by Jamie Grossmay with 27. Briar Claver had 19. And Ty McKinney got into double digits as well with 13 for Webster City. So a 74-72 win for the Lynx over Algona. The Bulldogs will dust themselves off, and they will face Pocahontas area tomorrow. That game was supposed to happen yesterday, but instead it'll happen tomorrow. A boys-only contest for the Algona Bulldogs as we'll try to get back on the winning track and restart a new winning streak. Meanwhile, Webster City, again, they're looking good. Their only loss of the season is a 6-point loss against Clear Lake, and they tough one out on the road here tonight by a final score of 74-72. Before my partner Greg Stewart, I'm Tyler Lance signing off for this evening, as this has been a Hometown Radio KLGA sports production. Once again, final score, Webster City 74 and Algona 72.